Party.
Every day of every year since I was 15, and still wet behind the ears. 'Cause ever since then I've been hooked on the taste of beer. I think we're really cool, 'cause we're sitting by the pool with girls all around. Whoa, look what we just found. It's really, really cold this last feeling days, but we got beer.
Got beer.
A girl from Spain, and Lolita was her name.
Rita.
When the zipper got stuck, whoa, boys were in luck. Big Apple stop, you shot with a shot. We got beer.
Got beer.
I'm glad for beer. I like a lot of beer. From the bottom to the top, I just can't stop with beer.
God, you gotta love this song.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Roll it rock too.
I like Keystone Coolers, Rocky Mountain Brew. I like 12 packs and 6 packs of beer.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show tonight. We got Grizzly and
Sportcat is in the house, ready for another good show.
happening.
It's showtime.
It's showtime, baby.
Oh, coast to coast and around the world, we are live. So I am
I
in.
think I've made a terrible mistake. I'm wearing
Yeah,
my
I knew
underwear on
that.
the outside.
Ooh, that's a bad thing.
That does. So I finally got moved to northern Kentucky, backwoods Kentucky. So I'm real excited.
Still in the hills.
I am. I'm up in the hills. So, but I'm still unpacking. So yeah, and it is wonderful. Andy Madison, hello there. Good evening. How are you doing? Let's throw you up there on the screen so everybody can say hello.
Hello. How are you? Hello, Andy.
How are you?
Oh,
Yeah.
we got Scarborough. We got Andy. We got Deacon. We got a good crew already. Our regulars
Oh
there.
man, yeah. What's up? What's up? Welcome. There we go. Yeah. Andy says I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good.
Well, awesome.
Good.
I'm glad to hear that, man. I really am. Sportcat, he just says, I'm in the house. Look at him. Look.
It's me.
Look. Check out his little picture. That looks so good.
I'm sexy and I know it.
So, so, since you said that the other day, I was leaving Walmart, right? Walmart. You know what Walmart? You all have those down there?
Yeah, we got Walmart.
Okay. I didn't know.
We prefer Target, though.
Target. But anyway, so it was like Walmart. and of course, I, out of the crowd, gets picked, be stopped, and gets my receipt checked.
Oh.
And she's going through my receipt. She's like, She goes, I do not see your Tide laundry thing on here. And I was like, well, that's kind of strange because I actually watched her scan that. So I was like, well, let me see. And she's like, no, let me see. So I stood there and, of course, Grizzly's embarrassed. And everybody's like, I'm holding up the line to get out of the store. And she goes, it's not on here. I'm like, it's gotta be. I'm like, come on, really? I was like, let me look. So yes, you are the dedicated ones. And so make a long story short, it was listed under detergent. I mean, really? Detergent. Yeah, how embarrassing. And I said, guess what? And she's like, what? I said, you missed another item. She said, what's that? I'm like, big sexy. Everybody in the store got a good kick off that. That's out, folks. But yeah, did you find that thing I was looking for?
I'm trying not to do my producer's job, but apparently I'm going to have to do it. So yes, I just found it.
All right, send that to me, and
I'm going to, because you drive me back crazy. So yes, I'm going to.
Me, you wouldn't believe, ladies and gentlemen, what he does to me at night.
Oh, what I do to you at night? What I do to you at night? That better be it. It's on you from here on. I'm done with you.
Oh, man, I tell you. So what's been going on in your world?
Well, it's kind of been a crazy week. I'm home alone, so that's good.
There will be the movie
here. Oh, which movie? I'll be playing all kinds of
Home
movies.
Alone movie. I always did want to play him,
It's not Christmas. It's 80 degrees outside, for Christ's sake. So
yeah, it was 82 where I was at.
Yeah, well, it's still 80. So
yeah, 82. I loved it. And you know what? I was lucky because this year, what was that?
I closed my drawer, my keyboard. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to startle you.
I thought something was falling. But I got a room for you two. Ooh.
I'm here.
Get a room, you two. Look at Charles. Oh, Lord. Lord. That's embarrassing.
Well,
so, yeah.
Got to be seen with you, it is, but yeah.
No, he did not, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm very lucky because this year moving, I had very good weather. I didn't have snow, snow,
I think you just
rain.
Described yourself.
Yeah, right. So I told you I was going to come on the show with the helmet, but you got mad at me.
You need a helmet.
I do. So you know what? You know what's been bugging me, right? So you and I talked about this. It's the Knoxville Police Department.
Yes.
Have you all heard about that?
Well, yeah, I have, because I brought it up. So
well, yeah, you did. But ladies and gentlemen, there is something floating around. I don't know if you all watch this on national news or not. Sportcat being a first responder, me being prior law enforcement, we always have our ups and downs. But when he first brought this video to my attention, I was like really shocked. I was very appalled, and I'll just leave it at that. Before I show the video, to me, it is kind of downgrading. And so I don't like people that make fun of people. So just be prepared. I think they may use a couple of different types of languages in there that's not over our vocabulary.
Well, hopefully Andy's on the cuss jar tonight. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's our ticker, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it's graphic. So if you trigger easily, it probably wouldn't be a good one for you to watch. But now, I've got an opinion about it, and my opinion is going to differ from most. So,
and I got an opinion too, but
it's going to differ from yours. I guarantee it. I know it's going to differ from our guest.
Well, it will, but. The main thing, though, is that we want to hear everybody's opinion, right? But nothing else. Let's just go ahead and play the show. Let's just Andy's here. I'm letting everything slide tonight. Woo!
Whoa! Andy must have found the drugs and alcohol he was looking for earlier on the radio. Whoa!
So we got a free pass. I love it.
Hell yeah!
All right, so let me
Hell yeah!
Just stream here. And
they can't show the whole thing. So you can't show the whole video because it's like an hour and 20 minutes long. You get to where you want to get to. Because So I'm going to set this up. So while you're doing your producer stuff you're supposed to do before the show. Whoa, why do I got your porn pictures up there? So this is a call that Knoxville Police Department responded to for Fort Sanders security. Fort Sanders security had said that they had a patient that they discharged that was refusing to leave. And so they had security go out there, and security couldn't get her to leave. So Knoxville Police Department shows up. Knoxville Police Department, like most major departments, are all wearing body cams. The problem with body cams is they show the underbelly of everything. And the other problem is
basically
responders.
What he's saying is that what happens is real life. It actually happens.
Yeah,
it's unedited. It is live. So whatever transpires happens.
So they responded to this call, and the security officer reports to the first arriving officer that, they have an elderly female. She's refusing to leave, and that she was in the ER seen, treated, and is discharged, and she had no medical complaints. Prior to that, now he uses some key words here as a responder that make things in your head click. He said that she was hospital shopping or hopping. I can't remember the exact quote, which means she landed in Knoxville at McGee Tyson Airport. She was taken from there by ambulance to Blunt Memorial, where she was seen, treated, and released with incident. Somehow she managed to leave Blunt Memorial Hospital and get out and called 911 and was taken this time to Fort Sanders Hospital. And I'm not sure if it's Fort Sanders downtown, Fort Sanders West, or Turkey Creek, or Park West. I'm not sure which one they called. So she was discharged. When they went to discharge her, apparently she got extremely rude. And at some point in time, she was even throwing her own feces in the room. So there were some things that transpired that painted the picture for the responding officer and by the security guard who said she was discharged. She was disorderly. She had slung crap throughout the ER and got it on other patients, on staff, and they wanted her gone. Now, that's when the first arriving officer got on scene, and he was a sergeant. So I don't know where you want to cue the video up.
Well, so with that being said, the first thing that comes to my mind is that a mentally patient, okay, probably. So just keep that now.
It could be. I don't make any judgments on that.
Knoxville Police released video of the arrest of Lisa Edwards. This incident took on place on 2/23/23. Ladies and gentlemen, bear with me. You're going to see the live footage, and here we go. It was hard to actually get the footage without the news. So,
yeah, when you didn't do it. So, okay, she was at regional. So
Sunday, February 5th, 2023, Sergeant Brandon Waldrall arrived at Fort Sanders Regional Medical Center in response to a call from Fort Sanders Hospital. Security regarding a woman since identified as 60-year-old Lisa Edwards. The following is body camera footage and the initial interaction with Lisa Edwards. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And just to let you know, this happened on a Sunday. So
Sunday morning.
Yes, Sunday morning.
So
he's actually.
Now, you could tell me, how do the body cams turn on? Do they manually turn them on, or are they turned on by remote? Are they always on? How does that part work?
So there's okay. He turned his.
They asked you to leave, didn't they? Did the hospital ask you to leave? No, they said they want you to leave. You got to leave, though. They want you gone. No, they want you gone. I know I can't even get to the door. You can't get where? Huh? You can't get to where? I can't get back up there. They don't want you back up there. They want you to leave their property. They want you to leave their property, ma'am. I can't even get out. Can I what? I don't know what to do. You got to go somewhere. What? I had a stroke, and they beat me up last night. Well, I don't. Who beat you up? The security guards in there. So the people in the hospital beat you up last night.
They did. They dragged me out my chair, ran my ugly lips.
Well, they say they want you gone, so you got to go. This is their property.
Well, I can't even get out of here.
You're going to have to figure something out. Because ain't no need for you to go to jail over some nonsense, but you got to leave.
I know. I can't get in your truck.
No.
I can't walk.
Oh, why can't you walk?
I got a stroke on my left side, and my ankle shattered.
Your ankle shattered,
Yes,
and they kicked you out.
yes. So ask them.
You must have been giving them some problems then. Were you giving them problems?
Yes, I'm here with problems.
Why were you giving them problems then? Why were you giving them problems?
I wasn't giving them problems.
I'm going to go talk to them. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, so that was the initial interaction.
So your body cam footage is turned on by two ways. It's either you touch it and turn it on, or some of them have a remote on your belt. It's always good to have it turned on before you come up to a scene. And some body cams take it a second before the audio kicks in. That's why you heard a weep, 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 then the audio in.
Yeah, I was wondering what that vibrating was. I assumed it was probably his CAD communicating with it.
No, that was his audio kicking in.
Okay, so.
All right, here we go.
I don't know how loud our audio is. Or
Oh,
I hear you. It's a figment of your imagination.
so what's the deal with her?
It's shortish. Came over here from the hospital. I think she's hospital probably. Didn't have to stay. She was a big pain in the ass inside the hospital. She was shit all over the place. Got shit all over her, spiking the staff. So now we just forgot. Or she got discharged rather. And she just having her go. So she's like, just call the police. And she was discharged from Home Memorial.
So she don't have anything wrong with her. She's coming out. Her ankle's shattered and she can't walk.
She's already been discharged. She's already been cleared by the doctor. She's just doesn't want to leave.
All right. Let's see if we can coax her into leaving.
All right, so now we have the hospital side. So it's now 8 a.m. and she's been there all night. So the painting has been made for the officer. So, and as a responder, it's funny, I know these dispatchers.
I'm out here on 44's call.
Now, these other guys to your left, ladies and gentlemen, these are hospital security guards. They're not law enforcement.
Yeah, they have no law enforcement power.
Ma'am, what's your name?
My name is Edwards.
Okay, Miss Edwards. They said you have already talked to the doctor. You listen to me. I'm talking. You've already talked to the doctor. You've already been discharged from the hospital. They want you gone. I'm talking. I understand you say you got some problems going on. You're going to have to find a way to get out of here. Okay? I don't want this to turn into a situation where you have to go to jail. If you're looking for somewhere to go because you're cold, I'm sorry, but I'm not taking you to jail just because you're cold.
That.
Well, they said that you've been checked. The doctors have discharged you. You have no reason to be here.
Homeless person. I shattered my ankle. I had a stroke.
Well, if the medical professionals have saw you and discharged you,
They won't.
I got nothing to do with that then. But you got to get going.
And that is
I
true.
can't even get in there.
You're gonna have to figure out a way to get going.
I can't get in there.
So you're saying that you're gonna go to
Can
jail?
you call the preacher for me?
Who?
The preacher. I guess it was.
No, ma'am. You have a phone right there.
I don't know the number.
How am I supposed to know the number to call the preacher then if you don't know the number? How did you get to this point right here? How did you push yourself out here?
I called him, haven't called him.
Did you push yourself out here though?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Well, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to roll this off the property.
I
And we're
know.
done now.
It's the hospital's wheelchair.
Well, you're gonna have to get up and figure out a way to get going.
I can't. Can I come in and try my phone number again?
You sat in the lobby for 30 minutes and you had your phone and you put it back down. You did not use the phone. You did not even attempt to use the phone to make a phone call.
Please don't do me this way.
You're the one that told us to call the police.
I'm not a bad girl.
We tried alternatives. We tried to find a peaceful resolution. You're the one that wanted us to call the police.
I never go to jail.
Well, that sounds like that's the only option because you're not giving us anything
I
else we can
know.
do.
I don't want to go to jail.
Well, get up and get the move. Get up and move then.
Well, take me to jail. Please don't hurt me no more. So.
Okay, I'm done talking to you. You start talking nonsense like that, I'm done with it. You go to jail.
All right, so. So the sergeant's going to call for a wagon and probably won't take her to jail, hoping that she'll get up and move along without further incident, is my guess. But I can't say anything about an officer. Now, see, this has now become a police matter because she is trespassing and refusing to leave.
Give me info. Give me info. What's your name?
Lisa Lynn Edwards. My daddy used to be constable.
What's your date of birth?
8662.
8662?
Yes.
You know your social?
She's not that old.
But I want you all to listen to every word here.
Person just walked through that body cam, didn't realize they are famous now. They're on Grizzly and Sportcat Live. So I assume he's probably running her in the CAD, which is computer-aided dispatch at this time.
After attempting to get Edwards to leave voluntary, officers decided to arrest Edwards on criminal trespassing charges. The following is body camera footage of officers taking Edwards into custody. So now we have another law enforcement officer that has arrived on scene.
Which, in Knoxville, they have officers that come around in a paddy wagon and pick prisoners up and transport them.
Now listen to the comments, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's she going? Jail, as far as I know. Sergeant's doing it.
I ain't letting her up unless I know there's the arrest report and all that shit can work.
Sergeant finishing the arrest report right now.
So she's going to jail.
Yeah. What you said.
What?
What you said.
Oh no.
Jail.
Jail.
Yeah.
jail with you.
Okay.
Real funny, isn't it? So that one guy seems like he's having a little bit of issue of wanting to transport her in the paddy wagon. Isn't that right, Sportcat?
That's my understanding, and he makes that clear at some point in time. Says, "I don't want the liability." Basically.
Okay, that's all I need. No. Yeah.
Now, if you caught, ladies and gentlemen, they said the temperature is right around 22 degrees outside. 22.
Confirmed. Yep. So one of the bags.
So I'm not clear if she had any priors, if she had any other issues.
All right, young lady. Go ahead, we'll help you.
Okay.
So the person on her right is a Knoxville police officer. The person on her left is a security officer.
Oh yeah, my bag. My bag. Oh no. Please don't let me fall again. Stretching back in the death.
We're not going to let you fall, okay?
So as I understand it, there's only 2, maybe 3 Knoxville law enforcement officers there. And the gentleman on her right is the driver of the paddy wagon. The others with the American flag on are employees of Fort Sanders Hospital System.
almost here.
Oh no! Oh no!
I need you to step up.
I
Okay?
can't.
Yeah, you have to.
Pull me back.
Big step.
I can't.
Yeah, you can. Good.
Good.
You're not gonna fall.
Now, the Knoxville Police Department from the paddy wagon, to me, appears that he's being reasonable. He's upset
I can't.
about it, but he's trying to be reasonable with her at some point.
Ready.
Okay.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to get in so we don't have to push you.
Okay.
Come on.
There you go.
One more time.
One more.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you can. Can't never could. Come on.
Hang on right there.
Weight bench.
Hang on right there.
I can't.
You got it. If you get in there, you can sit down.
Oh my God. I'm gonna
Now,
sit down. Oh my leg.
from having assisted loading people into a vehicle,
Listen, you're gonna have to get up there because we're gonna have to physically put you up there if not. And that's not as nice. So please help us help you.
Oh my God.
You've been medically cleared, so let's get in.
Let's put it slow. I can't. You're gonna break
Yes, ma'am, you're gonna have to get in
my
there.
ankle. I can't breathe.
now,
You've been medically cleared, ma'am. This is not gonna work. So we need you to help
My
us.
hand is right.
moving people in and out of an ambulance, a wheelchair ambulance, is always difficult, especially when they're not really being very helpful.
You're not just smoking a cigarette. I don't know where the top is.
So now she said a key word a lot of people are triggered about. Oh, I can't breathe. Well, if I could tell you the number of times I've heard that on a call, I would be a millionaire if I could have a dime for each one.
I'm keeping my mouth shut at this point.
Medicine.
She says that she doesn't appear to be in any immediate respiratory distress. That's my opinion at this point.
She's asking for her medicine, so we're trying to find her medicine.
Okay, it's not working. Okay, just stop. Okay, we're not doing this.
So
We're gonna put you back there. We're not doing this no more with you. So quit. You've been medically cleared, so we know better.
My blood.
and the reason he's probably saying
You're
that
getting in there one way or the
is
other.
we've
so
seen several
You're
people do
pulling
that.
against us. Quit. Now get in. I'm gonna put you in there if you don't help us, ma'am. Now stop this.
The situation would have been much better if he just had physically put her in there.
Oh my blood.
Walk.
Oh my God.
Now step up. Now.
I can't.
Yes, you can, or I'm gonna put you in there. Now get in there.
Let me in.
Don't reach on my head.
Let me in.
Get in the daggone.
Okay.
Oh my
Oh my God.
Jesus, Lord, Mary, goats.
So he's exasperated. I get it.
Can't find it. We looked everywhere. We can't find it.
Oh my God.
So she's asking
Oh my
for
God.
her medicine. They
Oh
can't
my
find it.
God.
You do not have an inhaler, but you have 6 packs of cigarettes, ma'am.
I do have money.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to stand up, and I'm going to ask you to help me one last time. You can stop. I've had enough. Get up. Use your legs. Stop. Now you're starting to piss me off. Get up.
Oh my God, I just did. Okay, give me up.
You have to use your legs quick. No, you're not. Use your legs.
I can't.
Yes, no, they're not.
They are.
What is that? Bzz, what is that? Is that a reminder the camera's on?
Yeah.
Why can't you put me in the back?
I can't pick her up because she's dead weight. She's not using her damn legs on purpose.
Not helping.
So I assume he's going back to the sergeant.
Very upset at this time.
I wouldn't use the word upset as much as I would say frustrated is probably the way I feel. Would feel.
Well,
have felt.
I've been in that predicament before.
Well, you know, we all have. Well, no. In first response. So he's telling his sergeant, what do you want me to do?
You're going to have to come help me get this woman in this. Because she's nothing but dead weight. Huh? As soon as we grab hold of her, she goes dead weight. And dude weighs 125 pounds.
He's talking about the security guard. So now we're looking at, we started this at 8 o'clock. It's now 8:43. So the officers have been fiddling with this young lady for 43 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know if it's in that suitcase, but I don't feel like rummaging through it.
I can find it.
Sarge started this, he can help load her.
What?
I need more muscle.
He said Sarge started this.
Yeah.
You have to help. This is not mine. I was trying to help.
Hey, please.
Now, as a paramedic, she did say something key right there.
Yeah.
To me.
I can't get her.
Listen to me. I'm not doing this, okay? This is the Lord. Listen to me. This is the Lord's day. All I want to do is give you some coffee and some oatmeal. We're not going to deal with your mess this morning. We've already spent too much time on you. You're going to get up here in this van and you're going to go to jail. We're done with you. I'm tired of this dead weight crap.
Now, that's the sergeant, to be clear.
Listen to me. You're going to kick your legs up and you're going to get in here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the whole problem.
I mean, it's not.
I've never been in one of those, so it looks to be really tight.
Well, they're supposed to be meant to be uncomfortable.
You're not going to pass out. Well, you know what? Well, go and get in there and pass out with these numbers. Because this is all an act. That's all it is.
Now, the guy standing in center there, that's not doing anything, is the paddy wagon officer.
Your friends are going with you.
They're not taking you back in the hospital. You've been kicked out of 2 hospitals. What do you need your purse for?
You don't have one in there. We've already went through it.
Hey, look at your purse.
The medicine portion of your inhaler is missing from the plastic piece. You don't have an inhaler.
Alright, okay, so listen, this is going to be your option. You're going to get up and you're going to sit here, or I'm going to stuff you in the floor. So which one do you want it to be? I'm leaving that up to you. You either get your butt up here, or you're going to have your head there and your feet here, and we're going to close the door and you're going to drive the jail like that.
The paddy wagon driver doesn't look like he agrees with that. But. Now,
she's going limp.
She's dead weight. She's not helping you a bit.
Well, you're about to get some, you know what's about to happen? You're about to get some more charges. That's what's about to happen.
Okay.
Sit back. Quit coming out.
Good.
Let's try to get her back that way.
You can't stop her in there, man. That ain't gonna work.
I can't figure it out.
I cannot breathe, ladies and gentlemen, once again.
But she said it forcefully.
What's in the back, man?
Now, this is actually worse. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, keep in mind that some of those officers are not Knoxville Police Department.
Her breathing stops in there.
If her breathing stops in there, we will not be able to get her out.
But I'm thinking one of us could back in. One of us could grab lower, one could grab upper.
Once she's in there, I won't be able to get her out.
Now, that's the paddy wagon officer.
Hey, bud.
I think he's making a phone call.
No, this is it.
I thought they would open it now, so we can sneak out.
So he basically says, I don't want her in there.
I can come. Hey, Brandon, come here and look at the back and see what you think.
He's asking the sergeant.
Good, problem solved.
If something happens back there to her, it's on you. That's what he just told the sergeant.
Good key observation there.
Then lean back.
And that's a hospital security guard hollering at her. Lean back.
Listen, you're going to get jammed in a tiny compartment if you don't get up there, man. Listen to me. Listen. Get up there and quit with this bullcrap. You're acting, and we're going to jam you in a spot smaller. We're trying to help you here. Get in there. It's bigger and you're by yourself. You have more room. You're going. Stop. Don't put your hand down.
Now,
Don't you dare fucking throw yourself on the ground.
Oh my God.
She's not helping herself.
Not going to die.
Now, I will comment.
Listen, hold up, listen to this part.
Oh, I know. That's the issue. You need to lean back. Every time you sit up,
So 185, I'm 10-6 right now. If there's something major important, we've got some issues right now.
Well, we can get to both sides at least.
I understand exactly what you're saying. My problem with me is that I know it's a telepath.
Oh, well, we all know that.
That's the problem.
But unfortunately, if she goes over and can't breathe,
Hey, wait, hey. Tim is on his way to drop one off. The charger lowered to the ground. We can throw in a charger.
yeah, he's going to bring me that mail he's picking up to me.
That's like you're going to be good sergeant.
Yeah, if you want to wait, she's fine sitting right there until he gets here.
What do you need now?
Okay, so she's asking for medicine. Now they're going to get a Dodge Charger
Taylor, the medicine is missing.
that's already got her prisoner.
Here, I'm going to lay it all out. That way, there's no argument.
Now listen to what this guy says to her.
So I assume they're going through her items for security reasons.
No, they're trying to find her medicine that she says she has. Now, why are they looking at her personal contents? I have no idea.
She just flew in from Washington yesterday.
You just flew in. Or something off the plane, she said, but I wasn't sure about that. Did you find it, Haley?
No, not yet. I can see why she well, that's why, because she went to the airport on county. She flew in Knoxville.
There's a phone, which is charged and functional.
22 degrees, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I don't know which one that is, but that sounds like, to me, one of the Fort Sanders Hospital employees.
Yeah, I don't know who made that comment.
Well, the paddy wagon driver was going to make a call.
Sisters are just now.
She's begging for her inhaler
Hey, I
still.
want a suitcase.
Right. Now, if you notice, it is missing the medication portion of the inhaler. That's just the canister. That's not the cartridge that dispatches the aerosol.
Now, they got the aerosol canisters right there. They found
so
it in her
okay,
suitcase.
so
But listen what he says.
Hey, when Tim gets here, we need to tell him to load her, just so we can hear him say, stop it.
She's not even using it. Just roll it out. You're not even using it.
So at this time, she's not able to use the inhaler,
Plenty of money.
allegedly.
Sure, plenty of money.
That's a cap.
Holy Jesus. Let's just stay on the other side of the river. Uniform's all nasty from her. Yeah, well, 6, but yeah.
So we can't see it, but to me it sounds like the sergeant is still trying to reason with her to help them help her.
Well, I want them to hear this comment that's coming up.
And he gave her medicine, and she didn't use it.
She wasn't able to use it. She tried.
Well, how hard is it to push a button and breathe? I'm sorry, I'm not empathetic at all on that.
Listen.
You can't jump like 10 fucking times. You can put yourself on the floor. It's like you did all night.
You want a cigarette?
No.
22 degrees, laying on the ground, half naked. You want a
She's in
cigarette?
scrubs.
You want a cigarette? Really?
I could use a vape right about now. Scarborough, that's a very good question. There is not one, I believe, in Knoxville. Deacon could probably tell me better because...
Yeah, I am not able to see the comments, ladies and gentlemen, just the video. So I'll go back and click on the comments. I'm getting ready to cut the video off. The Charger's getting ready to pull up. So
why does she have, what I want to know is, why does she have a fork and scissors if she's been on an airplane?
Sucks to be low man.
That's my question.
Oh, did you hear what he said? Sucks to be a low man on the totem pole. All right, so the Charger just pulled up. Now watch this officer's expression.
So the paddy wagon driver goes to him first. Notice that.
Yep, this is yours. Because you have the lowest profile vehicle that we can get her in. Let's unload yours so we can get her loaded. We've been out here too long.
Okay, so he was transporting a patient.
And she was still walking. She just now she's playing games.
Well, we've come up with plans. Yes. She's going in the back of that car, lowest profile thing here.
So he was prisoner loaded, and they're going to get the prisoner in the wagon.
She already got a warrant on her now.
Right. Yeah, that's what's
now he
gonna
did
happen.
say she has a warrant on her.
Disorderly. Impeding the sidewalk.
And feeding the sidewalk, and he's making cracking jokes.
Okay, she
I
did
mean,
that to herself.
that's somebody's mama. That's somebody's grandmother.
What we have here is failure to thrive. She's not helping herself.
You ever been to the Knox County Jail?
Yeah.
They don't listen. Them dudes don't play out there. When you get out there, you might not want to pull this out. Okay.
Now, I'm going to assume when he said she was walking that they have this on video somewhere. So that there is proof that. Okay, so he was transferring a prisoner. So they called a rookie in
Yeah.
Yeah, proper use of the wanding technique there.
We do things improperly every day.
No problem with it.
Sure. It's not going to fight anything. Whatever you want.
You stand still for a minute, okay? Start moving, right? We got to keep where they're at, right?
I hear you.
What's going on?
My patients are already done for the day. So are sergeants. My uniform's freaking nasty. I'm dealing with this.
He's been there for an hour.
Dead weight. Me and the sergeant grabbed more ball. Like, took a big guy to get her. So we grabbed her by the leg and my arm to pick her up, but she just, we couldn't get her.
Just mushed down.
Yeah.
What you get arrested?
I don't know. Sergeant did. I was just coming over here.
Poor rookie's like freaking out. Like, what am I getting myself into?
And you heard him say, Sarge did it.
Go in yours. I said, wait a second.
Yeah.
He has a lower profile vehicle.
Poor Tim.
I should have just let him walk all around. Like
Tim should have taken the day off.
Go ahead.
That was, I still can't believe it.
Unless it's her in the background.
Hardest to talk to her. That's a waste of him. I got to do a paper ticket. Did she have an address at?
Isabella was her last address, but she doesn't live there anymore.
But I mean, she was at Isabella, so that.
Yeah, she just flew into Washington though.
Yeah.
Like yesterday.
I don't know.
So
She went from hospital. She went from hospital to. She went from airport to hospital to hospital. That's her path.
Hey, you going out there? You're gonna transport her, so we'll go together. So. Oh yeah. Well, I don't want this stuff in my car. Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, just throw it up there. I'll do a paper ticket once I get there. Yeah, we're good.
So when he's getting out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're sanitizing wipes.
You want him right here?
So there's 4 City of Knoxville officers on scene now.
Yeah.
One of them's patrol, one's a sergeant, and I guess the others are the other guy's transport.
Oh my God.
Seems to me it would have been easier to move the wagon and just drive the cruiser up there. Or is that what they do?
At airport?
No. So everybody at this time, ladies and gentlemen, is already prejudiced because of the information that they're being told.
I think prejudice is a strong word. I wouldn't use that word. I would say they're more like they're tainted with a picture that's been painted for them.
I say prejudice. Oh, we got one of these people playing a fake game.
Oh no, my leg.
No, we know you can walk. Now stop.
Oh no. Oh no.
Give me an arm. Give me that arm.
Oh my titties. Oh my titties. Oh. Oh.
Quit.
Oh. Oh.
I need your arm back to do this.
The driver of the police cruiser, he isn't even helping, if you notice that.
You scratch me, we're going to have some
So those Chargers back seat of the cars, those are hard plastic. So when they urinate, and puke, and vomit, they can just spray it out with the garden hose. And so they just drug her through. Now watch.
Now set me up. Set me up. Now set me up.
She's asking to be set up.
Set me up.
Tim says, I'm not setting you
Yeah, let
up.
me reach in and see if she'll sit up for me.
So the guy in the paddy wagon wants to set her up.
Oh shit, my wagon. Did I run Lysol spray on them? I got some.
Yeah, hey, Johnny boys, you better get it done.
You better get some act right.
Just a couple more seconds here and we'll cut it. Because I want everybody to see what they're going to do.
So The Knoxville Police Department, KPD, has been on this for an hour and 2 minutes now.
So here comes the Lysol, ladies and gentlemen. And it's funny.
Make no sense, dude.
I got comments about this too.
No, I got Hawaiian Lysol.
I need some wipes.
You want some wipes?
Yeah, I'll grab some. I'm gonna get some wipes.
All right, so we're going to stop it here because now what it's doing, it's going to show another officer's point of view.
Yeah, this is back to the sergeant's body cam.
So let me get on here and remove this. And
all right, so give me a few moments here with the. So
let's see here. Wish I did. Deacon, yeah, but she was discharged from 2 different hospitals. It's sad the things that people go through with the medical system like this. It doesn't say the officers didn't do their due diligence. Well, we're going to talk about that. Deacon Mercy, Scarborough. Hello, Grizzly and Sportcat. Hello there. And Andy, if it was them, I would tell her to crawl in the wagon. And Deacon, let's see here. Ooh. Medicine is missing.
But they did find it.
She has the inhaler bottom, but the med canister is missing from it, right? But once they got into the suitcase, they found all the cartridges. But they still offered her a cigarette. They should have gave them a clue that she had a breathing issue. Okay, I got it backward.
We're going to run over tonight.
Why not take her to Salvation Army and type hostile? Okay, so here's the deal. Wait a minute. Oh, we still got more.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty more. So
let's see here. There are shelters. Did she ever say why she came to Knoxville? Why did they set her up?
She was sitting up. She sat herself down.
She came to live with the family and friend from Rhode Island. I mean, she came to here to live with the family and friends. She was coming from Rhode Island. Okay. Deacon says thanks. And let's see here. She had a place to go, but her wheelchair was left at the airport. Okay. So we didn't know that. So that's interesting. And that sucks. Well, now,
if she was transported from the
stop. I'm gonna let you go. Then I'm gonna take over when you're done. All right, go ahead.
Probably have to mute me. Well, if she came from the airport by ambulance and she was in a wheelchair, the reason she probably didn't have a wheelchair is it's hard to fit them in. So there's only so much you can cram in the back of one of those little vans. Sorry, that's just the way it is. So that I have no explanation on. Somebody should have met her at the airport. And she apparently, it looked like they opened up a new box. So perhaps the Blunt Memorial had given her the medication to put in there, but it hadn't been put in yet. So perhaps she got that medication since they opened it from there.
No, I disagree.
Well, she had the medicine. So we do know that. That's been established. Now, how she got from the airport to Blunt Memorial is by EMS. What transition between, I don't know. It hasn't been released.
Who cares?
Well, it is important.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is important because that shows that she was able to ambulate and move about by herself. You're establishing a pattern. No, what I'm saying is you're establishing a pattern. Okay,
See,
a bad leg.
This is why will you go down on me? That's why I'm not saying anything yet, because she's actually.
Well, no, and I understand it. I can see that. But at some point in time, she was able to get physically from one point to another.
You're assuming that.
Well, no, an ambulance picked her up again in Blount County. So
just because she was picked up doesn't mean she was able to walk.
Okay, then how did she get out of the hospital?
Well, so first off, somebody said she had a wheelchair left at the airport.
So would be if she went from the airport by ambulance. That would make sense because they couldn't fit it in.
So regardless of all that matter, regardless of whatever transpired.
So you're looking at it as a police matter, is the way you're looking at it. I'm looking at it as the way a human is. You have to ambulate and get from one place to another.
It was released and she was distressed coming off the plane. Okay. So
probably another key word for she was pissing the crew of the flight off. So,
all right. So my turn, right?
So I wasn't done. I was going to roast the cops too. So,
all right, go ahead.
All right. So most of the language was noted from the security officers. Knoxville Police Department, actually, in my opinion, was fairly professional as far as language and treatment of her. Yes, they were exasperated with her. Yes, I understand why. And somebody brought up, why didn't they recognize that she was having trouble breathing? Well, and Deacon's correct. As a medic, I can tell you she didn't get transferred from one hospital to another. So she's absolutely correct. She got out of Blunt Memorial, called 911, and was transported there because the ambulances, you can't call 911 and say I'm in the ER, take me somewhere else. If she had called 911 from that curb and said I needed an ambulance, that's a total different matter. So that's my assumption is she got from one place to another. So the Knoxville Police Department, yes, they're exasperated. They've been there with her for an hour. They have her walking on security camera per the security officers. I have not seen that video, so I don't know. So
no, I didn't hear them say that.
Yeah, he said she was physically walking 2 hours ago. That's what the security officer said.
Did anybody else hear that on the video? Correct me if I'm wrong.
So she is trying to play the system. Now, I don't know. I don't know her history. Apparently, she did live in Knoxville at some point in time. So now, as far as the officers, yeah, they were exasperated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard that because he even went like that. It was the sergeant of the security force, whatever. So he said, you were just walking. So there's painting a picture. You're telling me. Now, I'm answering these as a medic. I'm not going to downgrade the officers because of what they said. They're exasperated. Somebody asked about why didn't they recognize the medical aspect of it? Well, because she was flailing, failure to thrive, was not doing it on her own. We see this day in and day out. So at some point in time, you get tired of hearing these things. So you just get exasperated and you're done with the situation. I've been there. I've done it. So the ones that showed the most disrespect, in my opinion, this is my opinion, was the security guards. They're a private employer. That's their responsibility, their business. Now, the cops, as far as the decon, you guys are afraid of a cold, for Christ's sake. If you see blood, you run like little bitches. So I'm sorry, but you all are germophobic.
You said a bad word.
Well, yeah. I'm passionate about this because they're really downing a lot of these officers. The one officer, the poor kid, was stuck with it. He was stuck. Sergeant even told him, you're the low man on the totem pole. So he was stuck with it. The guy that was transporting, he was stuck. There was nothing that he could do. He was following orders. Now, there are things as unlawful order, blah, blah, blah. We won't even go into that. So I'm not really downing the officers. Could it have been handled better? Yeah, probably. But we see these things every day. I want to get back to this because I've lost track again. The medical issue. I'm so overhearing about the officers should have recognized it. I agree 100%. Officers should have medical training, but they do not. Do you know why they do not? Because they used to make them take first responder, and the fail ratio was so high. And they only have so much time in the academy. What have we replaced it with? We've replaced it with things like, oh, what pronouns should we use? Oh, what preference sex are you? Stupid crap like that. Where
sensitivity classes is what
whatever you call it. Where they should have them medically trained, but because we're such a woke society to certain issues, we take those things out of the training altogether. So that's why she doesn't have medical training. If you want to blame the officers, great. Blame the officers. Why don't you blame their training? Because they've been mandated that they have to do these things. And then the training officers love the fact that they don't have to do the medical anymore because they know that 60% of the officers are going to wash out. That's a national fact and statistic. So, with all that being said, the officers don't know medical. They don't, and they're scared to death of a damn germ. Holy crap, they get, oh, I got a cootie. I couldn't tell you the amount of times I've seen officers, if there's a drop of blood, they run and they get scared. So, I'll let you speak because I'm still fired up about it because I really get pissed off at people who are downing the officers when training is the key issue.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, for the ones that do not know
my mic
me,
off so I don't say anything.
I can actually do that from my end. I retired as a captain detective out of a small police department, and I was on a major, well, not a major, it was a county police in southern Indiana. I didn't have probably like 20-something, 25 officers, but give you a little backstory here. Yeah, are we afraid of blood, diseases? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we come in contact with so many people with cuts, bruises, scrapes, abrasions, and so forth. And, we go home to the family, the kids and wives, whatnot. Okay. So that's out there. So yeah, I was actually one of them. Okay. But let's take it as a leader. Okay. Being a leader in law enforcement. Let's see here. I'm going to make sure I keep up with the comments too. First thing I would do if I was, now anybody can sit here now at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, she got transported to jail. Something happened there medically. They transported her back to the hospital and she passed away. So now she is deceased. So I just want to make sure and let you all know that she is not alive at this time. She passed away. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. All right. So I show up on scene and I got stripes, whatever. And first off, I am not going to listen to any security officer telling me any BS right out of the gate. First thing I'm going to do is go make contact with the person that they want off the property. Okay. And see what's going on. Now, from that standpoint, she already said she had a stroke. Her ankle is shattered. Okay. The security guard said, and he's got this in the back of his mind, she threw feces in the emergency room or whatever. However that transpired, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't a witness. So now that can tell me a couple of things. Now we can be dealing with some mental issue problems. Okay. So now I'm thinking about that. So now I'm thinking about training about mental issues, right? Now the security guards they're pissed off because they're not getting their way and they want her gone. Well, hold up. It's 22 degrees out here. She's trying to cover up. She's asking for a preacher, call a preacher. How hard is it to say, what preacher do you want me to call? Let's Google one. Well, let's go back inside where it's warm. So that didn't happen. So anybody can sit here on a couch, like watching a football game and say, well, I would have done this different. Like done that.
Well, it's called armchair quarterbacking.
Okay. So I give them that credit. Okay. Not a problem. I'm not trying to play, that person. But this is how I would handle it, because this is actually what happened to me several times. I would go into the ER, and first thing I would do is talk to somebody that's actually in charge and see what the hell is going on. Anybody
I
can
agree.
be
That would have been a much better decision.
Discharged. Anybody can be a medically discharged and still have medical issues. She complained that, her ankle was shattered and she had a stroke, so she wasn't able to stand. Okay, so number two, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about that. Hold on here.
You hit a button.
Here we go. Yep, I'm getting them. Here we go. Okay, now once I make contact with them, I would probably say, hey, look, you know what? It's really cold out here. I'm going to bring her inside the doorway, but not into the emergency room, just the corridor. And let's figure this out. Okay, we will get her off the property, but let's figure out what's going on. And let's see if we can call her an Uber. Let's see if we can call a taxi, a family member. She asked for a preacher. Okay, so yeah, so evidently she had lots of money, because they were like, well,
at one point in time that they said she did have money. So she had money and a charged cell phone.
Right. So
there were other options. I'm still in agreement with you.
Okay. I'm still talking.
I'm just mumbling along to kill time.
I know. So there's other ways to handle things. Yes, I couldn't tell you how many times that I've pulled people over for speeding, and it's the same story over and over, and it's frustrating because I'm stuck running traffic and I'm doing the traffic detail. And after a while, it does get to you if you do it day in and day out, and it bothers you, and you start to get an attitude. If you're in law enforcement, it's going to happen. I don't care who you are. It happens.
It happens in EMS and fire.
So you try to bear and grin it and put on your happy face because you do not want to be rude to the public, because if not, you go to sensitivity class. I'm telling you, people do it. It happens all the time. So another thing is, I definitely would not let her lay on the ground half nude, naked on the cold ground. To me,
I agree with that.
If that was my mother or grandmother, I would probably have a stroke, seeing that. Okay.
Well, she put herself there. So,
well, regardless, they had enough manpower to put her back in the wheelchair to sit her up straight and figure out. Because, I couldn't tell you how many times that I went to arrest somebody or we were arresting somebody and, I can't breathe. I think I'm having a heart attack. Okay, sure. Not a problem. We'll call EMS, and they'll come over, check you out, clear you. I'm going to handcuff you. I'm going to take your ass to jail. No problem. The only thing you're doing is delaying it. Cool. I'm down with that. I need a break. It happens.
And we hate it. We hate it with a bloody passion.
Happens. Now, if some reason, mysteriously magical reason, that you get transported back to the hospital or get to the hospital, guess what? Either I'm there or we got another officer there waiting for you, or we'll just issue a warrant. When you get released, we'll just pick you back up, or we'll wait for you. When you get released, we'll just hook you right then and there. So, so my point of view and what I'm trying to say is, I think that the sergeant set the tone off wrong. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying anybody's a bad person. We all have our ups and downs. But I think that we could have handled this in a much professional manner. And it goes to show what happens on day ins and day out working, and things being recorded. People get complacent and don't think about that. That's why the cameras are there. Not only to protect me, it also is to protect you. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I didn't have to testify in court. I just had to hit a little button, hit play. I used to smile.
So much easier.
I know, it was funny. I didn't say anything. But the thing, though, is that you had all these different body cams. You had the officers laughing, low man on tunnel pole. You want a cigarette? Now all that stuff may seem small right now, but once she got transported back and passed away, everybody was like, oh shit factor. What are we going to do now? Now everybody's looking at the footage. Now everybody in the media's picked up on it, and everybody's just running with it. Yeah, it really is.
No, it is a national story.
It is. It really is. Now, pro law enforcement, pro first responder, we all make mistakes. I'm not saying anything to cover anybody's tracks. I will never do that. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Okay, you got your bad days. You got your bad days.
And I'm a firm believer of own your stuff if you make a mistake.
But no matter how bad your day is, you still got to put that smile on and treat people with dignity and respect. No matter how much or how far you think you as an officer or a first responder think that person is playing that game like everybody else does that don't want to get in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would see some stuff that I had to stuff in the back of my police car and hog-tied and put a spit shield on them, or what do you call those things? The hood, where they can't spit on you.
The spit hood, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you would probably be like, oh, I can't believe he did that. Well, you didn't realize he was kicking the living hell out of us, and kicked me in the nards a couple of times with being handcuffed. So that's why we had to hog tie him and throw him in the back of the car, and or or, they were trying to kick out the windows, or they did kick out the windows. Then we had to hog time just to get them transport to Sallyport. Sallyport is the jail. So, but yeah. Any thoughts? Anybody want to chime out there? I'm hot on the button. Andy, my thought is police, security, correction officers should all have some sort of medical training.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Medical training that we are required at the time that I was sworn was CPR, your first aid. It was basic stuff in your Narcan. Okay. That was the only thing we was on. Anything else that we needed, we always called EMS because they were the professionals and they knew what to do and how to do it and go from there.
That's because you're scared.
And some people took advantage of you too, Sportcat. Don't get me wrong.
I have been taken advantage of many times. No, absolutely, they need more training. But the training officers and the financial bean counters love it because now they can hire these officers and not worry about 60% of them failing out of a first responder class. I mean, now, it used to, before they did away with it, it used to have to do the National Registry, first responder class, which is an easy class. I've taught the class. It's not that, it's not that difficult. But the problem is you have to pass a national test. So, I love me some, I love some Dina and Jessica. Don't get jealous. But the people can't pass the tests. So if you can't pass the test, that means I've just wasted 3 months of training on you and I can't hire you. So that's why they changed the standards and training to take the medical part out. Now they do still have to keep, I think, CPR and the Narcan.
Andy just corrected me. We actually were certified in AEDs.
Yeah, the first or the responder EMS and fire police CPR class, and for the life of me, I can't think of what it's called at this time. Caregiver. Hey, it's my old boss. I better be good. Now he can answer about Blunt Memorial.
But Andy, honestly, if you saw what we carried in our police car or cruiser or SUV, I mean, for active shooters and our duty gear and accessories,
your response is a different response.
Right.
You're limited in what you can carry.
What is enough is enough. EMS, where I was at, was very quick to response. We had numerous agencies, whether they were volunteer or paid. So, we did what we had to do to keep somebody alive when it come to CPR and so forth, until fire department or EMS or paramedics got on scene. So absolutely.
And he's talking about an AED.
I can tell you how many calls that I've heard where police officers are on a code call and they didn't have an AED with them. Well, sometimes we can get there a little bit faster than EMS. Okay. Sometimes some departments do back up the fire and the EMS ambulance people.
Depending on the size, yeah.
And some departments do not. I was actually surprised when I went to, I'm not going to name the departments, but I was surprised when I went to the department and we did not back up the fire department or EMS at all. And I was like, whoa, that is like strange. So that was different.
The larger municipalities don't. And every officer, I agree, every officer should have an AED, but the problem there is going to be factor. I haven't priced them recently, but they were in the thousands. So if you've got, 10 officers on duty at one time, you've got $10,000 there. So
yeah, but
it's back to the bean counter with that.
We can say there's grants out there. You can apply for grants. If you got a good grant writer, organizations can donate them. Ladies and gentlemen, the AEDs are so simple. A 10-year-old can actually use them on a person. It actually talks you through it and shows you where to place everything.
Now, I've responded to calls and it came in as a cardiac arrest. PD was on scene. So we automatically, we've got fire, we've got an ambulance. You have to send a supervisor when you have a cardiac arrest because somebody has to be in charge and make calls and do things. And I've actually heard one of my lieutenants on the radio say to dispatch, you need to tell that officer if he's not doing CPR when I get there, you better have the shift captain meet me on scene. I've heard this over the radio because officers will stand there and not do a thing. And yeah, if you want to use the word prejudice, I'll use it. I'm prejudiced against the officers who don't do anything. If you're going to be on my scene and you're not going to do anything, you're just in my way. So
well, the problem is, though, if an officer is on scene and they are not doing anything, then they are liable. If something
dereliction
happens.
Of duty, in my opinion.
So it is your due diligence to perform CPR, whether you have a mask guard or not, or any CPR device with you. I know they were starting to issue those ones out that we carried in the car. And they put them on our belts.
Even if you do hands only, it's better than nothing.
Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly what they taught us.
So yeah, but I couldn't tell you, 25 years in the field, 3 different states. I've seen it, multiple jurisdictions, officers standing there with their thumb up their tail, not doing anything. They're dead. They're dead.
But you were in the big cities, though, weren't you?
Not always. Not always.
So now Sportcat's going to laugh at me because this is when they taught us chest compressions. It was to the song "Staying Alive." Staying alive, staying alive. So, but anyways, yeah, that's what they taught us.
My personal one I like to use right now: the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. I forget from there because I get so lost on it, but. There was like Queen, I think We Will Rock You. Yeah, and Wayne also has a valid point. If they're not trained, they have no liability. So if they've taken all the medical responders class out of them, then they don't have any liability.
No, that's called the Good Samaritan Act. Even that covers the civilians.
Nope, not when you're in uniform. You're getting paid by the government. Good Samaritan does not cover you.
Let me retract that. For civilians that try to render first aid or any medical.
Civilians, yes.
So,
Another one bites
dust. Yeah. So
we have run over, and I guess I hope our guest is still showing up. We haven't irritated her.
I haven't seen her. So, but you know what's weird though? Okay. Since Deacon, I grew up in the country, right? My parents moved from the big city to the country.
It's not obvious.
And we used to take. I have to whisper. I hope my dad's not watching.
Oh
but
my God.
We used to take his records and burn them at church. It was back then. We used to play them backwards. And another one bites the dust is like fun to smoke marijuana. But anyways, that's when I saw that.
Prove that to me. I don't believe that. So.
Yeah, I'll Google it. Wayne says Camptown Ladies. Yeah.
Oh God, that's an oldie.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Start your day with doo-dah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever works, do it, right? Because if that was my loved one, my mother,
has she clicked on the
you're
link?
The guest.
Well, she's a guest. Why is she?
What are you doing? What are you doing in the chat room? You should need to be on here with us. Sportcat, send her the link.
I did. All she had to do is click on it again. Well,
no wonder.
I'm not capable.
Yeah, so here our guests we're waiting on is actually watching the show.
Well, it's always
in the chat room.
Well, I always like that. I like it when our guests watch the show, but I like it when everybody watches the show.
Yeah, I mean, we are coast to coast and around the world, ladies and gentlemen.
We
have really.
So, is anyone in in Knoxville there? I'm trying to find her. I'm looking at our chat with her. Is anybody from Knoxville able to tell us any other information that we haven't gotten off of the national feeds? I'm not.
There she is.
I'm not sure how she left the hospital at Blunt Memorial, but she left the building somehow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The one and only Sonya. Hello. Welcome.
Hello there.
I'm here.
We were worried.
Can you hear us okay?
We lost you.
Yeah, I didn't know you were supposed to be on the show and you was in the chat room. We was just waiting for you to pop in. So, how are you doing? So, introduce yourself. Tell everybody all about you.
I'm Sonya. I'm 36 years old. I'm living in East Tennessee, in Granger County. Like, it's a little weird. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Be down. Turn your TV down. They're watching me on the show. I had to come to my neighbor's house. So right at 9 o'clock, it must be a conspiracy. Right at 9 o'clock, my internet went out at my house and would not come back on. It's been on all day long. Nothing's been wrong with it. But right at 9 o'clock, yeah, I had to come to my neighbor's house. So
they're watching you.
Yeah, so we've all been watching the show. I didn't know Onions wanted me to come in. I figured, like, I mean, I've been sitting there watching Onions with the Lisa stuff, and like I've been like a big follower of the things that have been going on with her. So, like, probably best. I was commenting. That was me. The Will You Go Down on Me is my YouTube name. That is something I've had since YouTube.
To me, it's really sad how it went down, and that's just my point. That's I'm not going to say anything else. You know, well, I think we can always
could do better
and do better.
Absolutely, we can do better.
So yeah,
I think the tone was set from the sergeant on, and it went down. Now the security guards, you know, they're not public employees; they're private employees, so you can't make them do anything. But so I can't really comment.
You don't think they not have some liability in this now?
Oh, I agree.
Hands on. They went.
I agree.
Anyways, we're off that topic. Sonya, let's talk about you. Give us some background on you. I'm so excited.
You get me fired up again.
Something a little like more lighthearted, you know. But I have a piece of property out here that I've lived out here all my life. I lived in North Carolina for a couple of years. You know, I got some really good friends out there. Shout out to them. But for the most part, I've lived out here all my life, and we've had a lot of strange occurrences like happen on our property. I believe a lot of it has to do with the land. A lot, I don't know, like how to describe it. The land in itself is a different entity, you know.
Right.
Believe there might be a portal because I find a lot of like things that are like in piles, like in the woods. I'll find these like random piles of things like one time I found a World War II bayonet, German bayonet for a knife sheath. I found it, a bird tip arrow, an old marble, and a Pepsi, the bottom of a Pepsi bottle, all in the same spot, all washed there together. And I know stuff is like, you know, I have a creek in front of my house, and things can wash up, and things can wash through the woods, and people can have stuff buried or whatever. But it's just weird how I find all these things, you know. And then there's a family of Sasquatches that roam the area out here. My neighbors know about them. You know, we don't really talk about them. Some people will mention them, but they don't really know what they are. They'll never, you know, call them Bigfoot. You know, there's something in the woods, you know, to them. And for the rest of us, you know, some of us know what they are. But I've known about them since I was little. I've seen them when I was little. But your parents do this weird thing when you're little that, you know, oh, it's just your imagination. Go back outside and play. And in your mind, you think, oh, well, maybe it is my imagination. So you start to think that the things that you see outside are maybe just some of your imagination. And it's not, you know. So when I was about 12, that's really when my dad had been outside with me. My dad, he's always roamed the woods, and he's seen some really strange things, but he was with me. And something was hollering outside. And to this day, I've still never, even with all the Bigfoot noises that I've ever heard, I've still never heard this particular sound because it sounds like a dying jackrabbit and a holler monkey mixed together. Like, I don't know if you know what a dying jackrabbit sounds like. Or
yes, I do.
Yeah. So like if you mix that with like a howler monkey, this thing sat outside all summer long and just screamed outside of our house. And from then on out, we've been noticing things, like things be throwing things at us in the woods, and then we find feet prints, and then it just started from there. So that's since I was 12, I've been like on this, like, I know they're out there. And then when I was about 18 or so, I seen my first when I know that I seen it, you know, as an adult, not as a child, not as a memory, but as an adult. I was about 18 when I first laid eyes on one. And then from there, I've seen them, I mean, a dozen times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And recently in the last couple of years, like, and I think when you're open up to seeing things like that, I think that it makes it easier to find other things, other cryptid, you know, it kind of makes it just kind of opens the doorway to stuff. And a couple of years ago, we had another visitor, which was the Wampus Cat, which I, at the time, had not heard of. I heard of, like, you know, a Wampus Cat and people saying that, but just calling, like, them calling Black Panthers Wampus Cats. I now know for sure that these two creatures are not the same thing. There is a 6-foot-tall cat-like creature that roams the woods out here, and it doesn't have 6 legs. There's rumors and stuff that it has 6 legs. It does not have 6 legs. She looks like one of those cats, one of those Egyptian cats.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like almost like if you were wearing a leotard, or if you were like a hairless cat, but you had hair and it was just so fine and smooth, it would look like a leotard. And she had big green eyes. She had like brownish blonde long hair, and it came down just like, she was very feminine, like very dainty. And she curved down. She had 2 breasts, and it went on down to, like, she was sitting on her butt the first time I had ever seen her. But she was sitting on her butt, and she had her legs crossed, and her legs were just like almost normal human legs that she got up and walked away on at one point. So
you say walked away on 2 feet or 4?
On 2 legs, 2 legs. She got up and walked, and my dogs were outside with me. I was feeding my pigs in the middle of the night is what it was. I had a friend with me, and I was like, everything was cool. We were feeding the pigs. I was stirring the bucket, and I was like dumping it in there, and you have to stir the bucket and keep dumping, you know, because the stuff gets stuck in the bucket. And she was there, and we kept hearing this noise, and all week long I'd had some strange things happen, like just strange noises that I didn't recognize. Like I'm used to like strange noises in the woods with the Bigfoots, but this was different. This was like children chattering at a park, or a lady, just 2 ladies giggling, you know, to each other. That's the only way I could be able to describe it. But it was just
heard about that.
Chattering. Yeah, and it's wild when you hear it, because it's like you're hearing voices, but she's so fast, you would be able to hear the voices all around you, not just in one spot. It would sound like she was over here, and then she was over there, and that was something that was just, to me, it was crazy, because I'd never experienced that. I've had a lot of weird experiences in the woods, but this was new to me, you know. So we were feeding the pigs, and he had, like, my friend had my good flashlight, and she's kind of like standing beside me, and everything's cool. And I've got like this crappy flashlight, and I was just like, and we kept hearing this chattering noise and this whistling, and it was whistling at like, almost like if you were singing, if somebody was whistling a tune where they never had to stop for air, that was just a constant tune. It was whistling like that, and it was a really pretty whistle. I mean, it was like a siren song. It called me right into the woods. I'd go right to it. I'm like, what's that? You know, which I kind of do.
There's a couple shows somebody has said that same thing. It sounds almost like a siren when they hear it. It's not like a woo woo, like to call you in. And I've past couple guests have said that.
It is, because it's like, why wouldn't you go, even if it is 2:00 in the morning, which it was midnight when I was feeding my pigs. I'd been gone all day. So, and it was like February. So I wanted to make sure the pigs got fed that night. So I went out there, and it was like midnight. But why wouldn't you go towards a childlike laughter in the middle of the night? What sounds scary about that?
Exactly.
Hey, I watch enough.
When I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, yeah, you know, children are scary.
Until your common sense kicks in, you're like, yeah, no, about that.
But like, I'm so curious. So when they say curiosity killed the cat, I can understand why, because I'm right there. I'd be beeline right to the curiosity part. I'm like, what is that? I got to find out, because I need to know.
Well, I'll tell you what, the first time I heard a baby cry at nighttime, when in the middle of the woods, I about crapped myself. I mean, that was the most scariest sound I ever had in my life. And you know what animal makes that sound?
A black panther, or a panther, or a big cat.
I think it's a fox. Somebody correct me.
Foxes make this weird, almost like a witch's laugh. Theirs is
theirs is much shorter. It doesn't carry for as long.
Yeah, it just started raining and storming here like crazy. It is thundering and lightning.
Yeah, it is actually here too. So yeah, it's getting pretty wonky. So, but
It's
first
clear at
time I
90
heard
here in
that,
Atlanta. So.
it freaked me out. So I can't imagine you got something going on your property to have items like that, just come out of nowhere and into a pile. And I cannot imagine. There was actually a sighting of the Wampus Cat a couple of days ago in your area.
I did not know that. That would be interesting to
Yes,
like link up with them and see like where they are, or talk to them, because I would really like to know more people.
It was in Eastern Tennessee. I found it on YouTube. Now, what they saw, I think, was a big black cat. So, but I don't think it was what you saw. But if you got portals open, I mean, there are cryptids out there that we don't know about. So
we have Black Panthers out here. You can ask any of my neighbors. Now they'll talk about them. They've seen them. They're not embarrassed to say they've seen a big black cat. But TWRA, anytime you contact them, they say you have to have a picture of it. Do you know how hard it is to make a black cat stop for a picture? It is hard. It is not something the kitty wants to do. So even on trail cams, our neighbors have I've got one neighbor that's got glitches of what would look like the back end of a cat, but never the full cat. It's always something like that. So TWRA will never come out here to help us investigate. So it's one of those. They was like, you have to have proof. Well, we've had goats go missing, and I've been out there thinking I was looking at one of my dogs, coming up on it, and realized that I came up on a Black Panther in the middle of the night, killing one of our goats. And luckily, my sister has 2 Great Pyrenees, and one of them, which I knew she was out there, I could hear her. I thought that's the dog I was walking up on because she's really big, and she was barking at one time right there in that area, and I was just walking to it. And I didn't bring my flashlight for some reason this time. I'm dumb. I did not bring my flashlight. And so I just was walking carelessly into the dark, and I walked up on it and realized what I'd done. And immediately was like, oh no, I'm going to die. And about that time, I could hear something running up behind me. And I was like, oh my God, it's circled back. There's 2 of them. I'm going to get killed. But it was my sister's dog. She came running. She ran past me and ran right to it. And it took off. And about 25 minutes, I went back to the house kind of what did I do? I shouldn't have been out there like that. I should have had my gun with me, because in my mind, I could hear my little voice inside my head going, you need to get your gun. You need to take it with you. But I was like, no, I'm cool. I'll be fine. The dog's out here. And, so I was really kind of mad at myself when I got back, and I was just standing there, and my sister's boyfriend comes up to me, and he was like, hey, how long you been out here? And I was like, I don't know. He was like, did you know one of the goats are dead? And he took me right back to the spot that I had been standing in. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I was standing right here a minute ago. I said, I walked up on a big cat. And he was like, yeah. And you could look down, and there were cat tracks. There were big cat tracks all over the place. And it went all the way to this. It had taken a part of the goat, and it disappeared at one of the trees. And so the blood trail stopped right there at the tree. So either predator took it, the alien, or it was the big buck cat that I thought I saw. So I was like, the blood trail stops here, guys. I was like, did anybody check the trees? And then we started looking around, because you never know.
I am not going to her house for dinner, Sportcat.
I want to get the invitation. I want to experience this.
You should, you 2 are more than welcome. You guys should come up. I've had many friends. Anytime friends come up to my house, a lot of them, they're unsure about coming back. I can say Bigfoot, and my friends will just get quiet. They don't want to talk about it, because a lot of them have had experiences with me, and a lot of them don't want to rehash the fact that something's in the woods, because we've had Bigfoot follow us. The Wampus Cat itself, I had my sister's boyfriend saw it with me. My niece saw it with me, and then a friend of mine, and my friend, and she had a lot of issues in the past and stuff, and she goes and we're talking to my mom. We called my mom as soon as it had happened, and because she wouldn't talk about it. I was like, did you see that? And she was like, yeah, I seen it. And I was like, what was that? And she was like, well, I don't know. It's been standing up there for it's been sitting up there for 10 minutes. And I was like, what do you mean? You just let it, you didn't say anything? Apparently it had been sitting in the woods, and she had seen it with her flashlight, and she just got quiet and started standing behind me and never said a word about it until I saw it, it was making noises. And I was like, do you hear that? And she was like, yeah, I hear it. And I was like, let me see your flashlight. And she chucked her flashlight at me, and I grabbed the flashlight and looked up, and it was sitting there. And I was like, holy shit, what is that?
How close to it were you?
20 yards or less.
Okay.
I mean, it was from, my pig pen is probably 10 to 15 yards long. Okay. So it was on the back side of my pig pen, sitting up on the pig pen's on a slope. So it was sitting behind the pig pen, behind the fence, just sitting there. And I had been hearing those noises it had been making all week long, which is really weird. The whistling and the chattering, I'd been hearing it. But it was really close that night. And I was standing there with my friend feeding the pig. And again, she was standing beside me, and she was scanning the wood line, because the noises were so close. It sounded like it was right in front of us. Well, I guess it was. I didn't know that at the time. She did. Apparently, I didn't. But she just stopped scanning the tree line and turned her flashlight off and started standing behind me. And I was like, wow. And she was like, can we go in? Can we go in now? And I was like, what do you mean, can we go in? She's like, can we go in? I'm ready to go in. And I was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm almost done. Hang on. And she was like, I'm ready to go in, Sonya. She's like, let's go. And I was like, okay, hang on. And I was like, do you hear that noise? She's like, yeah, I hear it. And I was like, let me see that flashlight. And she chucks the flashlight at me. I was like, okay. And I just turned the flashlight on and scanned the tree line. And there she sat. And I was like, what the F is that? And she wouldn't say nothing. I said, hey, do you see that? Are you seeing that? And she wouldn't say anything. And I was like, oh my God. And I just stood there. And she's like, can we go in now? I was like, no, are you seeing this? And she finally goes, yeah, I see it. It's been sitting there for about 10 minutes. Can we go in now?
Wow.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, there's a monster here. Thanks for telling me. Thanks for getting behind me. What were you waiting on? For it to just like take me down, take one of us down, and like stink back to the house? I don't know what her plan was.
It sounds like she's going to push you and run like hell. So.
She doesn't have to outrun like everybody, just one of us.
Exactly.
But like that was the first night, and it took me 2 days. I went back to the house. We called my mom. She described to my mom away from me what she had seen, and then I described to my mom what I had seen. And my mom, she's already scared to go outside. She doesn't go outside. She's been scared of the whole time that she lived on that property because of things she's seen out there. And she's got her own stories, but like she just won't go outside. But now she really won't go outside. And she's like, you guys saw the same thing. She said, you both to a T described the same thing to me. And I was like, right, well, it's good to know. I was like, but I want to talk about it. Like, I want my friend to open up and tell me what she's seen now. Like, and I can't draw. I can draw conclusions, but I can't draw, because if I could draw, I would draw it or paint it, like finger paint it. So it took me like 2 days. I sat and thought about it, and I was like, okay, there's got to be something out there that would explain what I seen. And I just typed in on Google cat-like creatures in Tennessee. And the Wampus Cat came up, and I read the Cherokee legend first, and I read all the way back to like before it got like tainted, because there's a lot of different stories about it. But then I started reading people who had seen it through the years, and they to a T had described exactly what I had been hearing and exactly what I'd been seeing. And at that moment, it made it real to me, because like, again, I believe in Bigfoots. I believe in the lights in the sky. There are aliens out there. There's all kinds of things that we can't explain. But knowing that other people had seen it made it more real to me. Even though I had a friend that was sitting right there who was going to let me get eat by this thing. Had it been, but she wasn't.
Not a very good friend.
Well, we're not friends now. Not really. I mean, we're acquaintances, but we're not friends. Like, it's not like that. They won't come back to my house. It's hard to keep friends around here. I got my neighbors, but they have lived out here all their lives, so they know what's out here. So it's easy to hang with them. We just take turns coming to each other's houses. But like 2 nights, like after I had saw that and realized what it was, that night my sister's boyfriend came to the house, and he was like, I need you to come with me. I think there's coon hunters out on the property. And I was like, okay, why would you think that? And he was like, well, we're hearing weird noises. And I was like, what kind of weird noises are you hearing, Tom? And he was like, okay, well, I'm hearing people talking in the woods. And I was like, does it sound like chattering, like kids chattering and whistles? And when I said whistles, he just turned and looked at me and was like, yeah, it's something's out there whistling at me. And I was like, okay, Tom, I got to tell you this. And I told him what I'd seen, and it didn't stop us. We went into the woods that night to look for this thing, and it ran around us. Like, I mean, it would be feet. You could feel the wind off of it when it would run around us, but we couldn't catch it with our flashlights, just glimpses of it. That's how fast it was.
Wow.
And it would make noises that I have never heard. My sister makes weird animal noises. She's been on Jay Leno and everything, like with her animal impressions. She can make some weird animal noises, but like this was not of any animal that I've ever heard. Like I've been watching David Attenborough since I was a little bitty baby, you know, and Steve Irwin. Like I know some animals, and this thing was making noises. Like I said, it would like almost talk to you, and it would make these sounds like it was mimicking you. And you would like Bigfoots do that too, but not like this. This was different. This was completely different. Like this thing would like, you could laugh and it could mimic your laugh. Or you could be like, what was that? And you'd be like, what was that? And it was just this.
Wow.
Man, that reminds me of Predator.
Okay, so Predator is my favorite alien. First off. There's a bird out here that sounds just like Predator in the summertime and it wigs me out. I think he's a kingfisher, but it sounds just like that noise that like noise Predator makes. So, tell me that. I'm waiting on the aliens to come pick me up anyway at this point. Like maybe that's why, like, you know, like my property being the way it is, like maybe there is a portal there. My sister, she's a big believer in aliens because we've seen a lot of strange things in the sky too. And she always has believed that she is some sort of creature not from this earth. So not that maybe that doesn't have anything to do with anything, but
well, actually it does, because in the biblical reference it says God has made creatures that are seen and unseen. So that can explain a lot of things.
Well, that makes sense too, because she was like a preemie. So like, I feel like she was almost like a lost soul. Like, you know, she wasn't really supposed to be here, but she survived. So she was here. So she's like was lost souls or something. But she's pretty, like, she's got her own thing going on at the farm. Like she's got her own hemp thing going on. So she's growing hemp, and, you know, we're trying to, you know, keep a garden going. We've got goats, so we have to keep them. We got chickens. We had pigs. Like I got rid of the pigs. I might be getting another pig, but at the time I was not mentally stable to be like out there feeding pigs in the middle of the night, like just wandering around the woods. Because I mean, I'd be going. I to this day, I know there's stuff out there, and it still doesn't scare me. I will still go outside anytime and pick a tree, go in the middle of the woods, put my back up to the tree and sit in the middle of the woods in the dark, you know, because you just never know what's out there. And I think that has formed a bond, me doing that stuff. Like over the years, I've formed a bond with the creatures that are in the woods, including the Bigfoots, because I have more interaction with them now than I ever have. You start leaving snacks and you start leaving, you know, good vibes, and, you know, you're up there just, you know, chilling, and they know that. So it's,
ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call right here ivories of steel. So you got it.
So
unbelievable.
Now, do you think that the cat and the Bigfoot have a relationship, or is there like a?
What's weird is, okay, so the time of year that the Wampus Cat came around, which if you read the old Cherokee legend, the Cherokee say that it would come. Well, my people are Cherokee, so both of my mom's sets of grandparents were Cherokee. They were, but like it said that they would come to people that were in distress. And at that time, my dad had just died like a year before that. So I had been going through a lot of like stress, and our farm had been going through a lot of stress because the land was in distress because we were in distress. So, and, you know, it caused a lot of rift between my mom and my sister. And, you know, we lost our dad, you know, she lost her husband. We lost our glue to the family. So, and if you read the Cherokee legend says that it would come, and it would come when it was needed. Like it would come, and it would come to like help that. Like, I'm not sure what, like for me, I know what it did for me to help me, but I'm not sure what it does to like what it was supposed to be doing to help, but make me look more crazy at the time. Like, you know, like I was already going through some stuff, like, and then I'm like having to tell my mom, like, there's monsters in the woods, Mom. And she was like, okay, we need to see somebody.
Well, you know, you are not the only one. I mean, there are a lot of people see a lot of things that we cannot understand, and we cannot wrap our mind around it, right? Because we are told, you know, growing up, what is real, what is not real, what exists, what does not exist, right?
And it kills your spirit, like it kills that like imagination of that. Okay, so when I was little, I remember like if you heard voices, or if you saw things and you told other people you were seeing these things and hearing these voices, you would get put away. Like they would take you straight to Peninsula, like you were around here. And that's where you went. And that's what happened. You needed medication. You were crazy. And I was like, oh. So like I've been the old witch in the woods for a long time, hearing voices, but I didn't realize I'm an empath. And I can also like I read cards and I can read people well. So I'm really connected with a lot of stuff. But being little like that, it makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm crazy. They find out, they'll put me away. And that's
a loss of power.
Yeah, and it's such a sad way to live in fear, like on eggshells. And I got called, like all the people I went to school with used to call me like a devil worshiper. I was like,
oh yeah, here it comes. Yeah.
We're straight to Satan, like it can't be anything else. God could not have given me these powers and then condemn me for him.
I mean, my brother, he grew up looking like Marilyn Manson. Makeup, clothes, and all, hair, you name it. I mean, he looked like Marilyn Manson. And ladies and gentlemen, today he's on the police department in Florida. He's a detective, so go figure.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's real interesting because, you do have a heritage background. You are finding things. There's something going on that something or somebody's trying to tell you something, I feel. What do you think, Sportcat?
I agree.
They're sending clues.
Agreed. And she's also open to them. So I think that I shouldn't say allows, that gives them permission, so to speak, to communicate with her. Because if you're locked out, and that's what I'm saying. If you're locked out and you don't believe in them, unless it's a by chance occurrence, you're probably not going to have an encounter. So a lot of times I believe if you're open to things, you're a receptacle to it. People will look at you and go, yeah, you're nuts. But at the same time, the other things will want to be seen by you. Of course, it's also bad if you talk to spirits, because I'm told you can't turn that off once it starts.
I don't think that. I think that you don't ever really you don't really know that it's happening, because you'll hear those things. And a lot of the time with perception, the way it is when a human is perceptive, you think that you're thinking those things or hearing those voices, and you think you're thinking about yourself, and you'll get these like weird thoughts in your head, and you're like, why am I thinking that about myself? Or why am I thinking that at all? And it's not you, it's something else telling you that. And I don't like read into bad stuff. Like I don't allow bad energies around me. So people are like, aren't you afraid demons will get in? I don't allow that. You can completely cut that off. Like you cannot allow bad things to travel to you.
Sure can.
And you can allow, like people say, oh, don't touch it, it's got bad juju. Okay, so I don't have to, even if I touch that item, I don't have to receive the bad energy.
That's correct.
If you believe that, you can cut that off. And that's taken a lot of like shadow work. And I believe seeing the Wampus Cat started a lot.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Okay.
It's lightning out here really bad.
Yeah. I figured something happened like that. Yeah.
I thought I was passing out. I thought
Hey, we call this gremlins in our show business, right? We always have them. So
absolutely.
But
I just pulled up the radar for her, and she's probably getting hammered by a storm by the way I'm looking at it. So,
Sonya, I had a problem because when I took psychology, I kept telling my professor, I'm like, wait a minute. So you're telling me I have to take a person and I have to sit them down and I have to identify with that person and identify a symptom or a medical condition, right? And then prescribe them medicine and send them on their way. I'm like, but what happens if they're really seeing people and hearing voices? He was like, Grizzly, take the class. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. Grizzly, take the class. And I heard it over and over. So finally I just took the class, but that is today's society, is that they want to shove medicine down your throat and send you in the way. Now, if you look 20 years ago and beyond, that's why we had all these asylums, right? That were built across America, because they were the outcast. They were the people that no one wanted to be associated with, because you had, empath powers and your that you can wally or whatever you can do, and people didn't understand it, and So they just want to put you in a box and you're gone.
Like it's like with Down syndrome, they didn't even understand Down syndrome. That wasn't. They also locked you in there if you had Down syndrome. So it went from a variety of things, from like just them not understanding completely. And we talk about that, like me and my friends talk about that a lot. Imagine being a 6-year-old child and having someone to sit beside you and go, okay, you are hearing these things and it is okay. And, these things are okay. And people do hear these things. Imagine how many more kids would be less depressed, or how much further they would be, mentally, because like when you're like that as a child, you're usually really smart. And you know what's going on around you, but you keep it all inside, and you tiptoe around these things, and because you're afraid that they'll block you up or they'll put you on medicine. And that was a big deal because Ritalin was just starting to come out, when I was younger.
Oh yes.
And who knew that Ritalin causes more problems than it does actually curing? Because most people, if they have a way to release their energy, they keep their hand busy, or they got a different way of dealing with the world. Like people with ADHD and things like that, they have a completely, like I have it, so I understand, they have a completely different way of like taking care of stuff. And to get overwhelmed like that, is it worse just to not feel anything at all than it would be to be up here, to be down here?
But the thing though is I went on a hunt for a long time. I would say almost 90 days, and I went to look for every psychic, medium, clairvoyant that I could find out there in the world, on social media, everything. And I studied them. And it's amazing because you're hitting the same key points as they told me. Grizzly, as I was growing up, I would see things, I would hear things, and I thought that was normal. And then when I spoke about them, then I was told I was, not normal, and that wasn't happening, and I don't need to talk about it. And they got depression, and they got made fun of in school. Can you imagine sitting there watching a teacher on the chalkboard? I don't know, do they even use chalkboards anymore? Writing on a chalkboard, and
Common Core talk.
Yeah, right. And see, I was always the prick that got stuck washing it. And see a ghost walk in front of the classroom, like, what the hell? But I learned so much from it, and you're talking just like them in growing up. I mean, that's wild.
Oh, that's really cool to know, because because you feel so alone. It's really, and once you're awake like that, like you talked about not being able to shut the voices off once you hear them, and it's true. Once you're awake and aware, you can't go back, and it's lonely. But you're never alone, but you're lonely because there's nobody there. Like there's not a lot of people that you can sit down that will express, those things, or that even know that they have gifts. A lot of people have gifts that they don't use or they don't know about because we're in the Bible Belt at witchcraft. I mean, they burned me at the stake, speaking of the witch trials, Salem witch trials, today's March 1st and all. It's a good day for it. But they would have burnt me at the stake.
Yes, they would have dunked you, and yeah, they would have burned you at the stake. Absolutely.
But in that case, I really am a witch. So they died, with their beliefs, and it's sad that people who combative, like no, I'm not a witch. I've just been like, well, you got me. Sorry, take me. At this point, I wouldn't deny it. Like, I feel like I've had to hide through the centuries. Like, I know that I have past lives and I've done a lot of things, and I know who I am. I've learned who I am this time around, I think, pretty quickly, considering the way society is. So I'm very fortunate that I did get to have that, have that openness. My parents were pretty open. They didn't force religion down my throat. My dad, he was a conspiracy theorist, and now that I realize that he's not a conspiracy theorist, because all the things that he conspired to believe that were true that he thought that were going to happen have happened, and he was right. My dad was a seer too. I just didn't realize that until I got older, and everything that he said has come true. I mean, he talked about 10 years ago, he talked about Epstein's Island with a lot of people, and nobody believed him. Before 9/11 happened, he told people that 9/11 was going to happen, that we were going to get attacked. And he wrote the White House. The White House called my house and had a discussion with my dad, right after 9/11 happened. What they talked about, I don't know. I will never know. He would never say.
I bet they drilled him.
They wanted to. Well, he did say that they wanted to know how he knew what he knew, and he was a big at the time. There wasn't a lot of places to listen to stuff, so he listened to a lot of like Alex Jones. But Alex Jones put him on to a lot of like old prophets and things like that. So a lot of books that he found and he read. So he's been seeing this stuff coming from the ages too, from way back when. So we know it's coming. Things have happened. It's not that it's coming, that it's here. And in my mind, you don't know if we're manifesting this because we've been told that it could happen and then we're manifesting it, or is it just happening because it was happening?
Now, I think you're on to something. I think it's both ways. Now, there was a medical study done, and forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't remember the study and what year it was published. You have to Google it. But I talk about it. They put people in an MRI machine and they show them religious symbols, and it shows how their brain starts to be active. So it does manifest stuff. So I think,
geometry.
Yeah.
So
I think that you can manifest negative spirits, or I really do. I think it's a two-way street. I do. That's my opinion.
It's like as far as what you believe and what you believe that you can do.
Yeah.
Well, if they can show that. I'm trying to think of the name. There's a measurement, and it gives off energy. And if you have a strong enough emotion or feeling, it can be felt away from you, and it will go a distance. I mean, they've measured that. If you've ever heard of people saying, "Well, it's a bad neighborhood," well, that's a lot of times because that's the feeling associated by the people that it's putting off that energy. So that's actually been measured. That there is a scientific measurement, and
just I've like certain people's names on certain roads and certain neighborhoods to make you think negatively of those things. I know what you're saying. I hear you.
But how many times, Sonya, have you been somewhere and you're like, "Whoa, this don't feel right"?
I get nauseous. Like I will straight up. I don't like. I will. I've looked people in the eyes at times and wished, and everything in me that I had never looked at them. Like I wished I'd never made eye contact.
Oh wow!
Because I can see inside them, and I can see everything they've ever done. And how can you see inside of somebody and know that they've done these things? And I've never been. I read everybody's cards. I've never been wrong on anybody's cards I've ever read. So I know what I'm seeing is real. And if I see that in somebody, how am I supposed to tell somebody that this person is not a good person, that they've done these things, that I don't have no proof? I just saw it up here. They let me in for a second. I wished I'd never went there. You don't have to be a part of the evil to know it's there. And that's a part of that lingering energy that kind of follows you,
Absolutely, yeah.
I let the bad energy in. I just know that that's bad energy and that person's done bad things. But how am I supposed to prove that? Like around here, they got proof of murders and they don't do nothing of it. I mean,
but studying psychics and mediums and empaths and stuff, like you said, I noticed a lot of them had relationship problems growing up because of that ability that you have. Because every time they go to date somebody, they were like, see right into their soul and be like, "You are not a good person."
And it's weird because your heart and your brain want to argue with each other, but you always got to trust your gut. Mine might hang over my pants a little bit, but I trust her. Like my brain and my heart will argue with each other. You cannot. Your brain protects you because it cares so much about how you feel and what it's receiving that it blinders. Like you could see something really traumatic, and your brain will go, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Don't worry, I got you. I didn't see that. Nope." And then your heart will go, "Oh, well, you want to be understanding." Your heart's always trying to be like, "Oh, well, they probably didn't mean it." And it always tries to see the good in people. But your gut will tell you like what's real, You can't, that sick feeling that you get in your gut, you can't ignore that. At least I can't. I'm also Saturn is my ruling planet. I'm a Capricorn. So I get sick in my stomach. And I can't. As much as I want to try to pretend that that's not the way it is, I know better. And anytime I get angry over like stuff that happens, I'm angry at myself because I knew better. I'm never angry at the person who did the things to me because I knew, you know.
Makes sense.
Sportcat, you know what you ought to do?
What's that?
You ought to invite her to our psychic group or chat group. That we
She's
actually I pieced together with Sportcat. These are personally people we know that actually have abilities, and they do converse back and forth. Sometimes they help each other, but it's an outlet for people like you that can vent and talk about stuff. But you know, if you want to, Sportcat will send you an invite. You know, after the show, I think it'd be pretty awesome to have you in there. I have psychics that call me all the time, be like, guess what? This is gonna happen, and I mean, they just blow my mind. I mean, I don't even ask for a reading, and I get readings. And Sportcat's like,
I'm the opposite.
If you have a gift and something tells you something, then that means that you're the vessel that is the only one that can hear them, and they know that. So you get a lot of that, like things will, like spirits will come to you and tell you to tell people things. And here you are making that awkward phone call, like, hey, you don't know me, or you do know me, and you know, here's some information you didn't ask for. That's always
that is awkward, and that's what a lot of them told me, and especially the ones that couldn't turn it off, that had problems with it, turn it off. They are not able to go out in public because they would get so distracted, you know, in a crowd with everybody chattering, you know, trying to get their attention, but like, hey, me. I couldn't deal with that. To me, I would go insane.
And like, it's funny because I actually have one of my best friends that's around here now. Like, her mother come to me as a spirit and was like, we'd met one time. She knew I had a car. She needed a ride to work. She had messaged me that morning. It was like 8 a.m. I had to be somewhere in West Knoxville at the time, and I wasn't sure exactly where she needed to go. So she messaged me. It's like, will you give me a ride to work? And I will give anybody a ride to their job, because if that's your work and that's the way you got to make your living, you know, you got to respect that. Anybody that wants to go to work, I'll give you anybody a ride to work. So I was just like, I thought about it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to rush this morning. And I was sitting there, and this spirit came to me. And at the time, I didn't know it was her mother. It was just a spirit. And she was like, please give her a ride. She really needs it. She, you know, she doesn't have anybody to help her. And I need somebody that could be responsible to help her, because she's not able to help. And I was like, I like, my dad had just died like 4 months before that. And I had mostly shut the world out. But I'm a member, like I go to Burning Man events, and a lot of the Burning Man people, like the burners, are really good friends of mine. So I'd shut the world out for a long time, but I just recently came back from a burn, and I had opened up my world again. I let the world back in. So I was like really overwhelmed with a lot of stuff coming at me, and trying to just, you know, just deal with that, you know. And, but like, she comes to me and like was like, please give this girl a ride. You know, she really needs it. Turns out she's going like 5 minutes from where I need to be that morning anyway. And I was like, I don't really know her. Do I want to give her a ride? And about that time, my dad's spirit showed up. My dad was like, you give this girl this ride, because she's going to need you. And I was like, okay, Dad, whatever my dad wants. My dad's spirit, he said so. So I got up right up and did that. And turns out she really did need me. Like, me and her are best friends now. And there was all kinds of stuff like she was going through that I was there for her with. Like there was all these similarities. My dad died March 13th. Her mom died March 20th. And it was 7 days in between their deaths. And that's her lucky number. So when we started sitting down and like pulling these things up, and I told her, I was like, hey, no, you don't know me, but this is the reason why I gave you this ride, was because this spirit asked me to. And I described the spirit to her. And she showed me a picture of her mom, and it was her mom. And I was like, I didn't know that. And her mom, she's like, yeah, my mom died in like March 20th. And I was like, oh, March 20th. I said, that's 7 days after my dad died. She was like, yeah. She was like, they died different years, but still. She goes, 7's my lucky number. She's like, it's the number that always calls to me. And I was like, that's really, you know, there's just strange coincidences there. But that's how we met. That's how we're friends now. And she tells everybody that, like, our dead parents put us up on a play date. And and it was the truth. And there was stuff, and it was like little things, like she didn't know how to plug in the stove. you know, the stove eyes, you know, little things like that. Like her mom wasn't there to show her. So like, you know, and now we're friends for life. And we couldn't, it's just going to be that way. You know, it's weird. We're telling people that story, but it's exactly what happened.
I don't think it's weird. I think we all have a destiny.
I think I keep saying that because I'm so used to talking to the people around here and them looking at me like I'm weird, and I'm like, I know it's weird. Sorry.
Well, you know,
somebody out there in our audience may needed to have heard that. Good Lord, may needed to have heard your story. That may have been why.
Yeah, because that may have them want to come forward and be like, hey, you know, Sonya, I'm not the only one as well. You know, I'm going through some of this. And it's people like you coming forward and saying, hey, this is what I'm going through. You all may think I'm crazy, you know, but this is what I'm seeing. This is what I've been living. And you are mimicking the psychics and mediums and the empaths that I interviewed and studied to basically to the T, they call it.
And
so
I love doing that.
You are not
people.
alone.
I do.
So.
I love doing it for people. I love talking to spirits and dead relatives and stuff because it's so comforting to them. Because so many of them, they think those little dreams that they have with their loved ones is just a dream. It's not a dream. It's a visit. Like all of those things, you know, or visits, you know, every time you think about that person or they just something reminds you of them, that's a visit from that person. And to be able to be there and to I guess mediate that in between, you know, the realms, it's really, it's an honor. It's an honor the universe gave me. And I would, and that's another thing about the whole God thing. You're supposed to beware of soothsayers and witchcraft and this and that. But why would God condemn me for, right?
Well,
so living in the Bible Belt's a little hard, but it's not.
So here's Sonya, my take on the Bible. Okay, now I'm a reverend. Okay, a lot of people don't know that I'm a reverend. I finally got it done, taken care of. I didn't tell nobody I was doing it because I didn't think it was going to be able to pass. Right? It was hard. So yeah, it was really hard. So I believe in a higher power. Now everybody can believe in what they want to believe. That's fine. I have no problems with that. I do believe in God. But the Bible says that the book is complete. It is written that way. It states that way. But we know as man, right, or woman, that the Bible is not complete. There are missing chapters out of the Bible, Book of Enoch, and we can go down through a list. So we know man has tampered with the word of God, okay, or the Holy Spirit or the higher power of the above. However you want to look at it, it's been tainted in my eyes. And it hurts to say that because of what I've studied and everything, right? But, you know, you pick out what everybody wants to believe in. Hey, don't force it on me. I'll back you up. If you got demons and evil spirits, I know what to do. I can help you with that now. But, you know, you got to be careful in certain things because all the religions are pretty much almost the same.
Yeah, that's true. It's just depending on who told the story.
That is correct. You know, I was before I took my classes. You know, I told Sportcat this. I was interviewing priests and reverends and whatever because we have panels of admins that you would not believe, you know, that are expertise in certain fields and are very well known for their contributions to Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And I mean, we can go on with the list and on. So I got this one guy and I was like, and I was going to knock him off his pedestal, right? I was like, so he's got all this the white collar thing around his neck. And I'm like, and before I could say anything, he was like, so who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? And I'm like, he's like, that's right. We do not know, do we? And I was like, damn, he just knocked my chair out from underneath me. So, and ladies and gentlemen, we do not know. So,
this is a weird bird, isn't it?
It is.
It's just, and it's weird because we talked about me and my friends were talking about this the other day. It just depends on who won the war gets to write the books and keep what they want, in it to, be able to control their masses.
All right. So, all right.
That's true in any fight.
I'll make this real quick. I have taken an atheist years ago, my old neighbor, and converted him into a higher power believer. Okay. And how I did this, ladies and gentlemen, is just like she was talking about. And we were sitting there. His name is Tim. I'm not going to say his last name. It's just in case if he watches this, he's going to kill me.
Hey, Tim.
But we were in his garage and we were drinking beer. Got beer. We were drinking beer. And he was like, I don't know why you go to church every Sunday. And I was like, what? I was like, why does it matter to you? Well, because you believe in God and in higher spirits and beings and the 10 Commandments and all this other stuff. I'm like, so? I'm like, stop. Let's look at this two ways. And you tell me what you think, okay? So let's say you're alive right now, okay? And you don't believe in none of the higher spirits or God or the 10 Commandments. And you turn around and you die. Where are you going to go? He goes, well, I guess hell. And I'm like, that's right. Right.
Why would you believe that if you didn't believe the other thing? You really can't believe in one and not believe that there is something there.
You can't believe in good. You got to believe in evil too, right? So so then I turned it and I said, Tim, I said, let me ask you something. He said, okay. And he's laughing, taking a sip of his beer. He said, you want another beer? I'm like, yeah, why not? Because I'm like, this is going to be good. And I said, Tim, let's say that you actually believe in a higher power, God, and you believe in the 10 Commandments and everything, and you turned around and followed that and lived by the rules and in the Word of God, and you died, and there was no heaven. What happens? He was like, I don't know. I'm like, I do. Everybody that knows you are going to say that you were the perfect man. You were honest. You were a good, loyal man. You were known by your word. You would take your shirt off your back. You would not harm anybody. Everybody would speak very highly of you from here to eternity. And he looked at me. He was like, you got me. Okay. So I need to change my ways. And he did. He actually did. I caught him sneaking out one Sunday morning. I was running late. So, and he confessed to me. But anyways, but that just, a little spin, a little toss that out there for people, a little bit information to chew on. So, yeah. Yeah.
Because if it works for you and it's doing good and it makes you do good, there's nothing wrong with that. Then you found something that's good. As long as it's good,
Well, and, in the biblical realm, and I've noticed this, and Sportcat can really dive deep on this. The preachers, sermons, reverends, priests, whoever, they never want to talk about the demonic spirits, the evil spirits, or any of that stuff, Yeah. Unfortunately, does it exist? Yes. Now, does it exist on every ghost hunt? No. Now, I mean,
I've been in an argument recently where a man come at me because I do have like a little Bigfoot page and stuff, and I comment and stuff. Mm-hmm. And this man come at me about Bigfoot being a demonic spirit in the woods. And the reason
I had some people tell me they're fallen angels.
Well, he said because I think the meaning renown and Bigfoot are two different creatures, but they are the giants of the earth, but the different giants. These are more giant. These are less giant than the real giants. But he was like, his whole reasoning was that there was a family who had Bigfoots bothering their farm. They went out there and was like, the power of Christ compels you, and the Bigfoots roamed away. I was just thinking, well, they were probably afraid that you were Mormon and that they would find your cave door and be knocking on it or something. I was like, I don't think that shouting Jesus quote at the Bigfoot was the reason why they went away. It might have been just the energy you were putting into it.
Could have been.
Well, you're actually right. So, and I'm going to make this statement, ladies and gentlemen, and Scarborough Station, welcome. I didn't say hi. So, a lot of people ask me for prayers, right? And I tell them, I don't mind giving you prayers for whatever that you need a prayer for, but you really cannot do the prayer yourself unless you're pure at heart and you have faith. Those are the two requirements. Because if you don't have that, then the prayer does not work. And a lot of people don't understand that.
Just one big, like when people put on their Facebook, pray for me, the Lord knows all about it. Well, I don't, so I don't know exactly what to pray for you for. So I'm not actually, I don't know where to I can't do that. I can't speak it to the universe because I don't know what to tell them. You know?
Well, yeah, I understand. And a lot of people don't like to air the dirty laundry, which, you know, I can see that point too. But
it's not a way to get me nosy, but I mean,
there's always a positive and negative to anything that we discuss, right? And nobody is ever going to agree on every topic. You know, I mean, Sportcat and I, we hear all kinds of stories what people think Sasquatch or Bigfoot is. And, you know, we don't change their mind, right?
It's not my job to.
I hope they do think that. Maybe they will stay out of the forest and leave them alone. And that keeps people who think that way out of the forest and messing with them. I feel like if you thought it was a demon, you might go back and try to give it an exorcism. And
hey,
I would totally see that.
You know, it's funny you said that. That was the same thing I was thinking. I was like, you know, I'm kind of paying to see that.
All right, I got plenty of holy water.
He's bringing it when he comes to visit me later this month.
I have plenty of. Now this is
your Polo cologne. Is that what that is?
No, that's rubbing oil, right?
This what is it?
Oil.
Yes.
Noting oil or whatever.
Anointing oil. That is correct, and it is actually from Jerusalem. And it was
cool.
Yes.
I need to drop that in some water so I can spritz the area for the demonic Sasquatch or whatever.
Let me tell you something. When I go down and visit Sportcat, I want to film his ass while he's sleeping, and I'm going to toss holy water on him and see what happens.
Bye, Sportcat. It was nice to meet you.
I'm coming to stay with you because he's scaring me right now with that holy water. Cats don't like water. Just remember that.
I found my taser, and he didn't like that. He's like, "Well, I got a 45 gas."
I like electricity. Electricity's fun. It feels like somebody tickling you really hard from the inside.
I do not want to ride the lightning. I'm sorry. At least not like that. Not like that.
You want to be able to take a shock in case somebody takes your taser from you and hits you with it. So you want to be able to know that you can handle it.
Yeah.
So I feel like you were in the right.
Yeah, I've been shot a couple of times. I'm actually, see, when you actually deploy the taser,
took a twist, didn't
it? When you deploy the taser, you're not supposed to stand there and watch. You're supposed to jump on the person and handcuff them. So sometimes you do get tangled in wires.
Do that. I've always seen them go, yeah, come on.
Yeah, I got my camera taken away from my. Back then we had cameras on the bottom of it. That's another show, but yeah. I couldn't help it. I would laugh because I would tell people, this is really going to hurt. You know, you may wet yourself and you're not going to like how it feels. And they wouldn't listen to me. And I would beg them. And our SOP was you asked them once. Well, wait, where's the camera? You asked them once. They didn't do it. You asked them again, pop them. And I never did that. I always begged and begged. I was called Dr. Phil. So
I ran a call up in an Asian community where this guy tried to rob a little convenience store. And he didn't realize those little fellows, there's like one on each side of him. They popped him with like 4 tasers before the cop got there. And we get there after the cops get there. And they're like, can you take the taser out? And I'm like, oh, not that one right there. And the guy says, well, what's wrong with him? And he's laying on the floor twitching. And I said, well, if you keep doing that, you're going to kill him. This is like he got there. They were still shocked.
Whoa.
They're just sitting there telling the story like
2/18/55. An orb just flew over my head. That was not a piece of dust.
I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and I wondered what that was.
That was an orb, not a piece of dust. So that was awesome.
Right.
But it didn't come from me. So.
What was really weird is that as we got older on the police department, we would always ask before we tase somebody if we was on another department, you know, backing up another officer. We would always ask them, "Did you mace them or OC them?" Because certain OCs and mace, if you pop them with a taser, they would catch on fire.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about as a paramedic.
So there's been a time or two where somebody's maced somebody and we couldn't pop them with the taser and we had to go hands on and it was just awful. It looked like WWE all over again. So yeah.
And I can imagine mace being on fire. That means that could just, oh my God. Doesn't it get hotter if the heat gets to it? Doesn't that make it more spicy?
No, there's something in the aerosol that makes it flammable, that makes it propel out.
Yeah, I think it's an alcohol-based propellant. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Deacon
Nice.
says, Deacon right here says there's something that's been bothering me for the past several years is people that say aliens are fallen angels that just come about in the last 10 years or so. I don't know where that came about.
Actually, that's in the Bible about the men of renown escaping to the stars in the times of Noah.
So what happened is the fallen angels in Nephilim. I actually did a lecture on that, and if you go out to the YouTube channel and see that, click on it, and it's about an hour and a half long. I did that for the ghost hunters that were going out there and dabbling stuff and like emailing me and messaging me like, I brought something home with me. I'm having terrible nightmares now. Help me. And I'm like, well, what did you do? Well, I learned off TV. Well, you can't learn stuff off TV. That's for entertainment purposes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now they do stuff on TV, but I'm just saying. So I had to do a lecture on that about fallen angels and Satan and everything. Ooh, I saw a miss. So you must have took a puff of something. I was like,
it's been a long hour.
Yeah, but it's actually called Fallen Angels and Satan for the Ghost Hunters or something like that. Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel and check it out. It's very interesting. It actually breaks it down, talks about Nephilim and everything, and what Nephilim is.
Person, you know, I believe that I'm a star seed. Like, there's no way. I've got an obsession with the moon and the stars and the things that I've seen. I mean, I even got a tattoo, like, just in case they ever want to come back and get me. Like, I'm here. Like, don't forget, I know you're there. But the lights in the sky, like, there have been lights in the sky that follow me since I was a kid. They follow my sister too, and I think that's another reason why she thinks she's a creature not of this planet. But like, the lights in the sky are there, and I know when they're there. Like, I can feel them, or not really like hear them, but I can hear them. But I can go outside about any time. And like, when I get that feeling, you can follow me outside and I can tell you where the lights in the sky are. Like, I got a few of them on film, and, you know, cameras aren't really, they're getting better, but they're not like, you know, what they used to be. But there's a lot of strange things out there. Like, I've seen like a couple months ago, I saw one of the space rockets, like, where it separated and came through. That was scary because I was out in the field at like 3 a.m. burning brush, and I didn't know that was planned, and I didn't even know that we could see it from where we were. The timing was different too, because it was like 3 a.m. my time, but it was 1 a.m. when they said that separated, which didn't make any sense to me. So I was really kind of just like up in the air about what I'd seen, but I got a video of it, and it was like it came over in this like orb and stopped and then separated, and one piece just sat there and the other piece just took off. It was so weird to watch. It was pretty crazy because I thought they'd come back for me. I was like, oh, they're here. They weren't there for me.
What, though? You living out in the country. I grew up in the country, right? And we saw a lot of things that Bobby and myself could not explain. Bobby's grandfather had, I don't know, like 25 or 2,800 acres. He had farmland, he had cattle, whatever. And we always go hunting, fishing. I mean, he had ponds and stuff. I mean, we would go out there and do our thing, and we would see things. We were like, oh, what is that? You know, it's not making noise. So you're not alone on that aspect. And I think people out in the country have a better opportunity because you don't have all the city lights. You don't have all the the white noise pollution, I call the background noise going on, and plus you're more in tuned.
Yeah,
so I hear that a lot.
The older folks, they get weird about stuff like that. Of course, a lot of them are not up late hours of the night looking at the stars and stuff. And I'm 36 years old. I'll still go take a blanket out anytime there's a meteor shower or whatever, and I watch all of them if I can. If it's this year, it's been really raining for meteor showers. Like every time there's a meteor shower this year, it seemed like it would rain, unless it was going to be like super cold, and then the sky was clear, it was fine. But like a lot of people don't look up, and if you're out in the middle of the night, you're probably hunting. If you're not doing something else like watching a meteor shower or just staring at the stars, because a lot of people just don't do that. I know people that are older than me that have never seen a shooting star, and to me, and I know it sounds
crazy.
How do you not see? How have you never seen a shooting star? Not one, not one. I mean, but I've seen thousands and thousands, but not everybody stops and stares up at the sky as long as I do.
No.
I mean,
and he was talking about the white noise, also talking about the energy. There's less energy noise in there too. There's less intrusion. So when you're out in the country like that, it provides your mind just an opportunity to either open up or look up or have a different perspective, because you're not flooded and bombarded with all these other things.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to worry about wandering out into traffic in the city.
Rap music, bing boxes, boom boxes, boom. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. It's the energy we project off. If you've got 1,000 people crowded in a small space, all that energy is going somewhere.
Because it's going to be mixed energy, because it's never going to be the same vibe from the same person. So it's going to be a lot of chaos, chaotic energy.
Yeah. No. Yeah, or you get hive mind, one or the other. And once you get hive mind, they're all in sync and communicating. So,
but absolutely.
I do. That's why when I go to Tennessee to get away from Atlanta, the farmhouse there for
I'm
the
not the only one drinking Mountain Dew. I saw that. I tried to hide mine behind my mic.
I was doing that too, but I keep leaning the wrong way, and I'm like, I can't do my left from right anyway. I was leaning this way. I was like, you're just leaning into the camera. I was like, oh, it's too late now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Oh well. It has been great. I'm so glad that she came on the show tonight. Glenn definitely will send you the invite to that psychic group that we put together, and definitely have you back on.
I know. Yeah, that'd be really great, and I would love to keep in touch with you as well. Like Glenn, he messages me from time to time, so it would be cool to keep in touch with you, and it would be a great honor to be a part of that chat and to be someone with like-minded
my information. I appreciate that, and so that'd be awesome, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of Sonya? I mean, that has been like awesome. I loved it. I mean, we're going to probably go on for another hour or two, really, but
probably.
Well, we can do this again. We can set now that I was just waiting earlier for you to just be like, join in, Sonya. Here's Sonya, and I was like, okay.
Well, I thought that several times, but I can't see all the screens that he sees up there. So
I was making comments on the thing. Will you go down on me? That's me. That's my YouTube name. That's me.
I suspected
she has been on. She has been on other shows commenting. Okay,
I made that.
And I would never say her name on the air because I was like,
I have no excuse. What happened is like a long time ago, I made a YouTube name, right?
Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen.
The story's funny, but it was literally, we were standing at a bar and somebody walked up to somebody I was talking to, and they a stranger, and they were just like, hey, if I promise to call you in the morning, will you go down on me?
What?
And we just floored. We were just like, what? And she was like, don't you remember me? I think I met you downstairs. And my friend was like, I don't know you. And we were both like, I don't know. And that's where it came from.
I would have kicked him in the legs.
It was weird. It was funny though. It was so funny that it was like, you can't make that up. So when YouTube first started, I made that YouTube name. Well, YouTube decided to, I guess, partner with Google, And now my Google name is also will you go down on me because they partnered up and gave you a Google name. So my Google name just turned out to be like that. So I kept it. I was like, I can't believe nobody else had took it.
That's your porn name. Oh my God.
No, my porn name is Dusty Oregano. Don't look me up.
No, I'm writing that down now. Hey, now, and we'll get back. We'll just lose him for a minute. He's upset with me because in my search for the truth is different than his. My thing is, I tell everyone has a story, no matter what it is, and no matter who you are. And some people, I know, I got the bad end of the conversation tonight because of my opinion, but some people are judgmental, and I
just
am
tell them
inviting
what you
people.
want to do.
I cussed you the whole time you were talking about Lisa, but I wasn't on there. So
and I warned you that you were going to, and that's cool. But no, I am looking for people that work in the adult entertainment. That I'm looking for people.
No,
because
he's
you know
not.
What I
Ladies
thought?
and gentlemen,
Hey,
he's
I'm
looking
alone
for
a
a
week.
porn star. He's looking for a porn star to come on our show. Okay,
I know if you're really looking for that, like OnlyFans people and things like that, I could put you forward.
My God, are you serious?
Somewhere.
Yeah, let me
I do have a lot of
mute
friends
her
in
mic
the
real quick. That way she can talk.
He muted you, Sonya.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to PM me. I'll put the 411. But I mean, seriously, I have learned from dealing with so many people in my travels, because I've traveled around the world, that a lot of times you just overlook somebody. Go, oh well, this is what they do. Yeah, whatever. But a lot of times they have stories.
Yeah, no, I love a person's story. That is my biggest thing. I think that's why I'm a seer.
I don't want them to come on the show and just talk about sex. I want to know about paranormal stuff.
There you are. You're the one being judgmental.
I am. I've got Reverend in my name now. I mean, that's kind of
good. God.
I mean, look at me. You're making me turn red.
Like, you don't want this to turn into the Howard Stern show or something like that. Like, you're not. I understand that.
He makes millions of dollars.
Oh my God, he bought that up.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Andy,
I may have a new. Hey, do you know how to run a video board? Can you because he obviously can't find stuff. Like a week before the show, I send him links, and the night of the show, he goes, "Where's my link?" I sent it to you a week ago.
Andy just said, "Well, that just went down the crapper fast, didn't it?" Now he's laughing. So yeah. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you never know what's going to come out.
Will have our own show. So
we could. I could run a podcast. I'm telling you, people, like, if you followed me in a day-to-day setting, and even when people aren't around, I talk constantly out loud to myself like this. You know what I mean? So I could have a camera follow me all day long, and it would be like something that would be, it would be interesting. The things that I find online, like there's so many weird things. Like I go down rabbit holes all the time, and then that puts me into perspective of start to think, because I can't believe one certain way about anything because I have not heard all the questions, and I have not heard everybody's answers to those questions. Exactly. And until I hear all the answers and all the questions, I will never know anything. So everything is a theory. Yeah, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truth seeker. So that's
exactly what I am. Real people, real stories, real encounters. So
yeah,
absolutely.
And by the way, his grease man, the grease man.
I'm not going there. I am not.
Do you even know who the grease man is?
I don't.
I don't
yeah, he was a disc jockey out of Washington D.C. So he was pretty much one of the ones that I grew up listening to in the morning when they had real DJs and personalities, and I probably formed a lot of my persona online because of what I perceived. In fact, if you look at my Facebook thing, my title says Boss Jock, and that's what he always called himself. He was a boss jock.
My DJ name is PTSDJ. That's my DJ name. PTSDJ. For real. I like that. I like jock names. I like their DJ names.
Well, Chris, if you could just run the board and mute yourself, and me and her will have our own show. How about that? Can you make a little screen right down there for you? So.
I don't know. Through this whole conversation, I think you were actually really quiet during a lot of stuff, and me and him really, it depends on what we're talking about. Like if you have the one with the sex on it, I'll come on and take your place, and you can just be embarrassed behind the shadow.
There you go. There you go. See, he's worried about our sponsorship.
There we go.
Yeah, I keep moving around. I'm having a stroke.
Now you are that's what I meant to do last time we did the show for the guests, is have them where they're, in the center and we're on the side. So they have the, glory.
I made this makeshift box at my house before my internet went out, which I brought with me because I didn't know what I would use here when I got to my neighbor's house. So I got this cow bone that my phone is sitting on. See, it's a makeshift box, and they just sit that right down on me. I collect a lot of animal bones. There we go.
I miss Tennessee. I miss Tennessee so much. Get me out of this hellhole.
The last time I talked to you in Tennessee, was wanting me to come get raccoons out of your mom's attic.
That's correct. That's correct. Those little some bitches cost me $1,500. I was afraid to stick my head up there. I saw what one of them would do.
Okay, so I've been really out of state for the last
Bigfoot
couple years.
hunting, and you're afraid of a raccoon.
At the time, I think I could have came and done that. I couldn't. I'd sat in my room for 4 years doing a lot of shadow work, not moving around a lot, and up until recently, where I got my spirit back, got myself back. So I would have come and got them raccoons if I thought I could have made it up a ladder and into an attic. That was my biggest fear. I'd be like, "Yep, they're stuck," and then you have to call 911 to come get me out of the attic.
I'll tell you, he's like, and I did try and get Tina to help too. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be the one that puts their head up there and got a rabid raccoon, and I found out later they can't get rabies. But
he did say that he wanted me to get my face gnawed off by a raccoon and not him. No.
I wasn't going to do it. You said you were more comfortable with them than I was. Dina, I was going to jam up there. So.
Expected these rabid raccoons to be really upset. Okay, I would have brought my sister, because my sister, she will jump out of a moving vehicle and whatever animal is on the road, she don't care. It could be a bear. She'd pick it up by the back of the neck and take it with her, or take it off the road or whatever.
Yeah,
we do take a lot of dead animals off the road though. She does have a couple bears in the woods, in the trees, that she got off the side of the road. My mom's a truck driver, so my mom's like, "Oh, I found a bear on the side of whatever road, and we'll go get it."
We were doing an off-duty gig, and this is when Apple was really hot and big, and they were still on their iPhones and iPads off the semi-trucks at the truck stops.
Yeah.
So our jobs was to ride in these unmarked police cars with their long rifles and go to the airports and drive up to the plane and watch them unload it. And it goes down this conveyor belt, and it gets onto this truck, and this truck goes over and loads all this onto the semi-truck. Then they throw a GPS in the back, and they lock it up. And we had to follow that thing all the way from Kentucky down to Florida, Kentucky up to New York. And it was nonstop, because the truck has more diesel in it than it does a cop car, right?
Right.
So, and the truck could never stop. So we would always have to follow it. So we were driving back, and my buddy on another police department was working with me. He was driving my car. And I looked down. I was like, "How fast are you going?" He's like, "We got to catch up to that truck." I'm like, "How fast are you going?" He said, "We got to catch up to that truck." I'm like, "How fast are we going?" He goes, "Why?" I said, "I saw red and blue lights back there." He said, "We're doing 115. I looked up, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What was that?" He said, "That was a bear standing up." We were going through North Carolinas and stuff.
Whoa. He said, "Only you can prevent a car accident. Slow down."
Man, that state trooper boy, he was hotter than hell when he finally caught up to us. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, they don't play in North Carolina. If they have to chase you, they are so mad.
Yeah. I mean, he freaked out. Both of us having ARs up in the front seat, and
how do you think a bear felt?
I guess he was running radar in the median. I don't know. It's late at night, I mean, North Carolina, South Carolina, they're all hilly and stuff up there.
Yeah.
So yeah. And he's like, "Bye-bye, yo. We'll see, Andy. We're cutting it out too." So yeah, Sonya, it's been great. Hey, I appreciate it. Love having you. We'll have Glenn give you my information, and we'll get you hooked up in that group. Okay.
All right.
All right. Take care. All right. Thank you.
We're gonna have you again. You're gonna drag me. She's gonna drag me out in the woods of Tennessee, or I hope she does.
Yeah, you know what?
She may leave me, but
I think I'm ready for Tennessee now. So let me get me on the other side. I look weird on the right side. There we go. There we go. Much better. There we go.
Now. I can't. I'm dyslexic. Got me
there
all
we go.
turned around.
So, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that was Sonya. That was really good. I didn't know she was out there watching the show and talking in the live chat. So
I thought that was her, but I wasn't 100% sure. So
I really enjoyed her. I liked her a lot, and the audience did too. So
yeah,
and Andy's like, "This is a great show." Andy, let me tell you something. Anytime you want to come on and talk, you know, we'll send you the link.
Yeah, I would love to have Andy on the show.
Hey, we'll have you live, and you know you can say whatever you want. And I don't have a beat button, so you gotta be careful with language.
Well, he's our counter, so he's our official counter.
Right. But no, man, it's been a great show, man. I cannot complain at all.
Yeah. All right. In 24 hours, I'll turn this around and have this on a podcast in case you want to listen to it again. And make sure you go to the Grizzly and Sportcat Live. You can support us by buying shirts. We need t-shirts.
Absolutely.
Next show. Oh, that's the big mystery show. That's the one where we've got the case. And we're going to discuss. And even I don't know what's going to happen with it. So I don't know. Live radio may get me next time with the psychics and my doubting and disbelieving. So,
man, what a wonderful show, man! I enjoyed myself tonight.
You know, I used to have 25 followers, but I think I got 28 or 29 now. So
I don't know. I wish our counter would work. Go beer.
Well, yeah, they can always find me on Facebook, Sportcat Medic. I'm at Sportcat on Twitter, so.
Yeah, Grizzly Chris, Grizzly on the Hunt.
I totally misread Dina there, but.
I know, right? Yeah, we are going to have her.
We should have Dina on. She tell the truth about me.
We'll go down on me. You made fun of the girl. No, we didn't make fun of her. We made fun of the dame.
No, you made it fun girl. That's what I said. I totally misread that when I first read. But I read something totally different. I was like, oh, private chat for me, but never mind. So
yeah, we actually got more than 5 people watching. We are streaming on a lot of platforms around the nation or across the nation and around the world. Thank you for all the Facebook groups, moderators, and admins. We love it.
We do.
Thanks for tuning in. It's been great.
You know, we should get a Patreon account and do a live show after the show.
Isn't that the truth?
Get more than 25 people with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good night. It's been a blast as always. Hopefully we will talk soon. Already missing you guys.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Take care. We'll see you soon. Good night, Wayne. Toodaloo.